Yo.
Poisonrana.
Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana Live. You found us in whatever podcast app you are using. Hit that subscribe, hit that follow, and we are
Live on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. Hello, YouTube room. How are we doing?
Hello, YouTube room. Hello, all the friends out there, all the frogs. It's Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to talk about some pro wrestling. We're going to talk about everything going on in the world of wrestling because wrestling never stops and it never leaves us. And yeah, it's a nice Sunday afternoon.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful summer day. Hope you're enjoying your summer wherever you may be. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Appreciate that. We're coming off a really big week. We're back in our city. We had some fun in the Double D's. We traveled to Detroit to travel to Dallas, and we did our whole AEW All-In weekend. Our review is up on our podcast feeds if you haven't checked that out already, and of course our YouTube here. If you're watching live, check out some of the interviews that we did the last couple of days. It's only a week ago that we are in Texas watching some wrestling, so it was a big week. And on top of all the shows here on our YouTube and free feed, we did our Snap Ranas, which kind of documented our road trip, planes, trains, and automobiles to Texas, and we've gotten lots of love on the Snap Ranas, so appreciate that. And go check them out because they're pretty fun. We did a video vlog, I guess. Video vlog. Yeah. We did a video and a podcast on the grassy knoll, and we'll find out just how grassy it is. So we had a really great week this week, and we can't do it without all the people out there supporting. So thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Had a great time. I think those shows are pretty enjoyable as well. As you said, we've had some great so far. And yeah, like go and check them out if you haven't already. Only $5 gives you access to our Patreon with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows, including those little road diaries we did for All In.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did like a whole documentation of everything that we got up to last week, and plus all the little interviews and so much more. And on top of that, you get all the other shows that we did. We just dropped Best Match Ever Goldberg, where we looked back at maybe the most amount of matches technically, but still a pretty short show because his matches didn't really go that long. But we looked at the best. Davie scoured cage match, Meltzer ratings, Reddit, everyone's favorite Goldberg matches, whether it's 10 minutes long, 90 seconds long, or 30 seconds long. We covered it in our Best Match Ever Goldberg. What a show that was.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun doing something a bit different, not necessarily watching, these 30-minute classics, but as you said, 30-second classics in the career of Goldberg. And I think we honored him in a way that maybe even Bill Goldberg would be happy about.
Absolutely. Goldberg would be happy that we spent about 2 hours talking about the best of his matches. He would love that, I think, so much. Or maybe the fact that we also talked about his retirement match against Gunther that just happened, and Goldberg's already kind of whining about it. Maybe he didn't like the way things turned out, it seemed, from that interview on Ariel Helwani, which seems like years ago now, but it was really just this week. Wrestling moves on really quick.
Yeah, we gave our thoughts about that earlier in the week. I think a bit of time have removed. We've seen some reaction to that, and yeah, like I've seen Dolph Ziggler being pretty negative about it, like pretty much saying, "Hang, come on, what more did you want? You went out, you had last match, you said thank you. Like it's more than a lot of people get." I do see it from both sides, but I am interesting to see if that was his filtered thoughts. What is he going to say in about 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, he'll have some sort of podcast. I don't know, Eric Bischoff, or I don't know, he'll go off on WWE. I'm sure about the real things, and I'm sure he's going to talk about Gage and this NIL stuff that he seemed to mention in this interview as well. So I guess we'll have to see what Goldberg has to say. Will he have one last match after his last match? I don't think so, but he sounds pretty
I don't
sour.
think so. I feel this is it. But
this is it for Goldberg. Well, we did have fun going back watching a lot of the Goldberg. A lot of the matches we list for you in our podcast of the stuff that we watch back, and a lot of them are on YouTube, whether it's the WWE or the Vault or just uploaded by some random people. But we praise such matches as Glacier Goldberg,
oh yeah,
La Parka Goldberg. What else? Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. There's a bunch in there. There's some
Steiner, DDP, Hogan. Yeah, whole lot.
We talk a lot about some WCW, some WWE, a lot of stuff we don't usually talk about too much, but on the Patreon, we cover it all. So check us out again. $5 if you've never checked out our shows. There's so many in that catalog. Definitely worth it for just the pods alone.
And also, we neglected mentioning this on Tuesday because it kind of got lost in the shuffle of all the shows going on. But there is a new and final episode of Eagles Don't Hunt Flies on this very free feed. Bushby and Brandon, joined by Jesse from the Six, to kind of round up the career of Jon Moxley. They're talking about some of his biggest AEW matches, in particular the first ever Texas death match between Hangman and Moxley. So yes, this dropped kind of during All In weekend, so kind of got a little lost in the shuffle. But now's your chance to go back and enjoy. And want to say thank you, especially to Bushby, who kind of put this whole thing together and have been doing the show for the last couple of years for us.
Absolutely. So check those shows out here on the free feed. Tons of shows on the free feed. And you're going to be going away for a few weeks. You're going to go back to your mainland, your homeland, to check out some Gallaghers. But it won't mean that Up Next will be missed. I will be joined by, hopefully, B Detroit and Jordan Goodman for an episode of Up Next, where I'll get some fresh perspective on what's been going on with NXT this Tuesday. And then the following week is kind of my birthday week. So I'll be doing a show not Tuesday, but the Wednesday with Post Wrestling's Jack Wannon. So definitely looking forward to the Post Wrestling peeps and the Poisonrana community coming together for some stuff. And next Sunday you're away, and it's my birthday, so we are not doing a show on Sunday.
And yeah, I just want to unfortunately announce I've been very selfish because I've booked this trip home. I'm going back for 10 days, seeing my family, going to see Oasis, but I've been incredibly selfish. I've booked it when it's your birthday, but even bigger than that, we've had to put a little Poisonrana tradition on hold this year. And I'll start by saying, starting off today, things kick off today. And I want to hit you with this little fact, Braden. Did you know sharks don't have any bones?
Oh, I know. I realized this week is Shark Week. And of all the weeks to go away, Davey, what am I supposed to do? I realized I agreed to, so I've not left our patrons empty-handed, because I've made a hot tag to a friend of the show. Scrump from the PWT cast is going to be joining me next week to talk about a movie that I just didn't want to put you through, and he's been wanting to review it, and it's a favorite of mine, Teen Wolf. But unfortunately, it's not Wolf Week or anything, so I completely picked the wrong animal to talk about this week. So unless I try to pull a Hail Mary this week, I'll try to maybe do a shark review. I don't know. I don't want to review any of the big guns that we haven't yet, but last year we've done a few shark movies in our back catalog there. I know Jaws just turned 50 this year, but we've reviewed that. We've reviewed Deep Blue Sea. What was it? Sharknado. Was that the one? What's the I'm getting my Robert sorry, what's his name? Roberts.
Eric Roberts.
Eric
Yeah,
Roberts. He was in one of them, right?
We did an Eric Roberts one last year, right?
I don't remember.
And
they all blend together.
And the problem is, I'm typing in Eric Roberts shark movie, and
not just
there are multiple ones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Sharktopus we did last year.
Sharktopus.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But also Eric Roberts, also apparently in Space Sharks and Megalodon, the Frenzy. Like, he loves his shark movies.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't love sharks? And we do still appreciate all the sharks out in the world. I don't know, but it's sad that you're missing Shark Week. But I think we can.
I know.
They have sharks in the UK, right?
I might be doing. It makes the news, right? Sometimes it's like, hey, a shark has washed up on the shore of Essex or stuff like that. But I might be trying to do some. I'd like to record at least one thing while I'm away, and maybe I'll just do a very kind of quick 5-minute monotone Shark Facts show just to put out there. But next Friday, actually, I had no idea this was going on, but I'm going home whilst RevPro are doing a show in Wolverhampton. And it's like, oh, that'd be fun. Like, Wolverhampton's about...
Is that a real place? That's a real town?
Yeah, it's near Birmingham. It's where Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, all of them are
You could just make that up. Say to any North American... Yeah, I'm in... What was it? Wolverton. Yeah,
Wolverhampton.
I'm going over to Wolverhampton for the weekend with the lads. It's like, oh yeah, that just sounds like you could be completely medieval.
It's been shouted out on WWE TV. There's a bunch of WWE wrestlers from Wolverhampton.
And I'm just saying, it doesn't sound like the Smoothie King Center doesn't sound like a real place either.
Yeah,
it is.
So yeah, I found out this is happening while I'm there. I am free that day. It's about a couple of hours from London, so going to be making the trip to the Midlands. Just so happens some friends from Grapple are going to be there as well. And this is one of Mercedes Monet's title defenses as well. So if you are, I'm just seeing in the chat right now, Chris Jones saying Wolverhampton is my home city. So
amazing.
If you are in the Wolves area and you are heading along to...
heading to the Hamptons.
Heading to the hangar for RevPro, let me know. Hit me up. I'll be in town early afternoon. Maybe hit up a Spoons or something. Chris, we need a chat. You need to let me know what the deal is in Wolves so we can have some fun. But yeah, I'll be there, and I might even try and record a little road diary as well to kind of give my thoughts on that Rev Pro show.
Yeah, that would be completely awesome. I think that's so funny that it kind of works out. The Mercedes doing a bunch of dates for Rev Pro, but she's going to be there. And I know you were pretty excited when you found out Mercedes was on the card, but I know you got even more excited when you saw Naito on the card as well. Oh, I bet
T-shirt Naito.
Yeah, put the lads who are going, money down. Not for me. Naito's wearing a shirt.
I'm pretty sure he's with Bushi as well, right?
He's definitely wearing a shirt.
But I was pretty sure I saw Bushi wrestle in a tag match on SmackDown this week as well.
Oh, okay. Right. Was that Rey Fenix?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be doing some sort of show, a Snap Rana Wolverine show from wherever you are this week, and the card does look pretty cool. It's cool that you get to try
Michael Oku versus Ricky Knight Jr. for the British Heavyweight Championship. It's Rev Pro. I've heard. I haven't seen them for years. Like I haven't been to a Rev Pro show since I moved, and I think the last one I went to was at York Hall, which was AJ Styles versus a young Will Ospreay, which was pretty awesome. So. But yeah, I always hear positive things about Rev Pro, mainly from the Grapple lads and stuff like that. So excited to hang out with Maddie and Gareth and any other listeners who happen to be in the area.
That's super awesome. DMs are always open, Davey. Definitely hit up a Spoons and let me know. Maybe I'll send you.
You still got the app? You still got the VPN?
Yeah, I'll send you. What was the shot? The porn star? What do you guys like? The passion fruit thing?
Porn star martini.
Yeah, that shit was fire.
A woo woo.
Yeah, that was great when everyone was just ordering us random things like ice cream and soy sauce or something for some reason. So look for that Snap Rana. I am looking at the DDT Peter Pan show because I'm going on some travels in a little bit, and I've mentioned that I've happened to snag tickets for Corcoran Hall DDT Peter Pan, and they've announced some matches for it. So I'm probably going to have to do some sort of Snap Rana while I'm away because I might not get Takeshita on a DDT show, which I might be bummed out. Hopefully he gets added, but Tanahashi's been added to the card, and Minoru Suzuki versus Mao. So I'm already pretty excited to go to that show as well. So we're gonna go check out some wrestling all over the world. Poisonrana worldwide. Very excited. And again, follow us on all the socials to keep updated from all the stuff that we do. If you're in the Toronto area, there is Demand Lucha happening this Thursday, not in Parkdale, but in the Dirty Schwa. Shout out Oshawa, Ontario. They're going to be doing a little lucha vacation. And I saw Arez versus PCO, one of the big matches. That looks awesome. I do know they're returning to Parkdale Hall later in the summer. So I guess we'll have to hit up Parkdale in Toronto for some Demand Lucha. But
absolutely
support your local independent wrestling wherever you may be, because it's good. It's fun.
Another little bit of housekeeping. Unfortunately, we will not be hosting a SummerSlam watch party this year. It falls on just a weekend where, you know, it's Caravana weekend in the city, which is always very busy for the bars. But also the Jays are in town, and the Jays are quite good at the moment. They're on a bit of a hot streak, and definitely like business at the bar, which is right around the corner from the Rogers Center, is affected by kind of how the Jays are doing. When the Jays are shit, that stadium is more than half empty. And right now they're kind of selling out because they're on this little hot streak. So the bar made the decision that it would probably be a bit too much to try and host the wrestling event as well. But also I'd have just got back like the night before SummerSlam, and these things do take quite a bit of work to put together. So we're going to hold off on this one. It's the summer. Go and enjoy yourself. And we'll hopefully be throwing more in the future for Survivor Series, etc. if you're a fan of the WWE ones. But we will be doing a middle of the day watch party for Forbidden Door at Wide Open, our favorite bar. So if you are in the Toronto area, or you want to come down to the Toronto area and watch Forbidden Door with some friends, that's your place to go. We'll be putting out all the details for that very soon. We did All In London 2 last year at Wide Open, and I think it was one of my favorite watch parties. We can certainly get more people into a Gabby's or some other venues, but I thought it was kind of special and really fun last year doing All In the middle of the day. So looking forward to doing Wide Open for Forbidden Door this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Toronto area people, give us a follow if you haven't, because we'll be announcing the Forbidden Door details soon. And if you're thinking of traveling up to the city for All Out in September the 20th, AEW bringing it to the bank, the Scotia, follow this space because we will be announcing some things for that weekend as well. There's indie shows already being announced. Like, I like when a city can be like taken over by wrestling, and I find it even cooler when it's not even a WWE weekend. We saw in Texas. Now, we didn't necessarily go to a lot of these other things, but you had wrestling concerts, you had wrestling like indie shows, GCW, etc. I think it's super great. I mean, we do our own events, and we do like, you know, parties in the city when there's wrestling, and even when the wrestling is not even in the city. So it's a cool thing to kind of see it together, because I noticed this is a worldwide phenomenon of Love Island watch parties. Have you seen this? Like, this is taken over. Like, it makes wrestling like you see the wrestling fans always up in arms about ratings. Like, you want to talk about real ratings? Love is Blind or Love Island or all that shit that like they kill, and they've been doing watch parties like worldwide. And it's cool that even something as silly as wrestling or a Love Island or Love is Blind can bring people out and about watching stuff together. So it's kind of cool when I see there's watch parties for other stuff that's not just sports. You know,
yes.
I like when people get together and we're doing a movie night. Yeah, fuck it. Why not put Jaws on? You know,
absolutely.
I like that. I like seeing that. So we will be doing some announcements for Toronto in September. I'm not super bummed. We're getting a lot of messages about this SummerSlam, but like you said, you're coming back. It's busy already with like stuff in the city. I don't really want to sacrifice the Saturday to watch Jelly Roll wrestle. So I'm not really bummed out about missing a SummerSlam one, but the Forbidden Door one will be a whole lot of fun. So again, follow the space for details soon.
Before we get into things, I just wanted to tell a little story. Brett, you might need to hold my hand a little through this this show because I feel kind of delirious right now. Normally, I always work a Saturday night. It's always a late night, and obviously you do nights as well. Like sometimes you alternate, and but yeah, last night at work. Normally, I've got a good routine. I still get up decent amount of time, get my walk in, get my coffee, prepare the show. I completely overslept today because last night there was I don't know if you were awake for this. There was a crazy storm in the early hours of the morning around sort of 4 o'clock. So we'd finished work. Friend of the show, Big Tom, is our doorman at the moment on Saturdays. So we're outside Gabby's.
Is he selling lucha masks at the bar now?
No, but he was. It was pretty fun. He was singing. He joined in karaoke yesterday whilst on the door. So he's got the mic outside, stood outside the front and like screaming some heavy metal, which is pretty fun.
Sounds like Tom,
and then our friend Shane, who our buddy who is currently training at the Nightmare Factory, our buddy who's in a wheelchair. He stayed outside the front all night with Tom, keeping him company, and he did Lose Yourself at karaoke. But we just had people like forming a little crowd outside watching him.
It was
because he's not inside on the stage because it's difficult for him to get up there. So he's just like out the front rapping away, and had a little audience there, which is pretty fun. But yeah, we finished our shift. We were outside. It just started to rain, and one of our colleagues lives like immediately opposite Gabby. So we went to hers, and we had some, a little nightcap and whatever. But this rain was like awful, and you all know how Uber is. Like Uber, as soon as it's all the bars are kicking out, so prices are like high because it's Saturday night and everyone's leaving the bar. Everyone wants an Uber. And then they surcharge because there's this fucking storm going on. So I'm looking and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait this out. A friend orders a bunch of A&W. It was clearly the 4 a.m., 5 a.m. staff who didn't give a fuck. Like, I don't think anyone got that what they ordered. We were looking like, what even is this? It's like
A&W Dynamite?
It's a burger and like one pickle on there, and that's it. And like, it was terrible. Everything was cold and dry and stale. It was horrible. But we're just trying to wait out this storm. It doesn't feel like it's letting up at all. I checked my Uber and the prices have gone down. I'm like, okay, $8 to get home. And you know where I live. It's pretty close to Gabby's. It's about a 10-minute walk, which sucks if it's in a storm, but also it's 10 minutes. I'm not paying $30 for a 10-minute walk home. Like, that is ridiculous. So it's gone down to a decent price. I get in the car, and it's one of those like hybrid, like electrical car things. And we're driving, and we're going under one of like the bridges, and then suddenly the water is pretty much up to the window of the car. And I'm not really paying attention. I'm half asleep. I'm on my phone, and then I look, and like it's like I'm in a fish tank. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, dude, is your car going to be okay? And he's like, I don't know. We'll see. And then it was like something from a movie. It started going beep, 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 beep. I'm like, what's that noise? And it's got one of those little like computer screens as well in the dashboard. And it's like, system malfunction. I'm like, this isn't good.
I'm imagining this is like Deep Blue Sea where the shark now breaks through the glass.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. So we've got to the other side. We're not like swimming in it anymore. But there's this beeping, and I just go, what's that smell? And I can smell like fire. Electrical burning. So he's like, it's okay.
Back up into the water.
Yeah, we're probably now only about a 3-minute drive back to mine. And I just go like, I'm not going to blow up trying to get an Uber home in a storm. And I don't know how my Uber driver's doing, but I just go, end this trip. I am getting out here. It's still like pissing down with rain.
Oh my God.
But like, sorry, the car like screaming at me, that system malfunction, the smell of burning. So I just get out and decide to walk. The smell of shit everywhere because it's all the sewage has like overflown and from this flood. So now I'm trying to figure out. I'm basically at the right by Simcoe and Queens Quay, so super close to where I live, but it's like 3 feet of like sewage water everywhere. So now I'm trying to figure out like how to get home. So I walk back by like Steam Whistle, and I'm walking around Steam Whistle and the Rogers Center, turn around the other way. It's still flooded like that. So I end up having to kind of pretty much walk where it joins the Gardner. And I'm like just making sure that there's no traffic around to try and get across. I ended up getting home at about 6 a.m. I'm like soaking wet already. But like, yeah, completely had to abandon this car because I didn't want to explode. So yeah, I got home. I completely passed out, didn't set an alarm, didn't charge my phone. I'm waking up. It's about like 12:45. I'm like, oh shit. And now in my head, I'm just like, what even happened in wrestling this week? I feel so wrestled out. The coffee hasn't kicked in yet. So yeah, apologies. I'm a little later getting going today, but yeah, it was insane. Like end of the world kind of.
It doesn't even look like that outside.
No, I know they've cleaned it up real nice, and luckily the blue skies and it's hot again, so water evaporating. But yeah, it was miserable, like end of the world kind of weather at 4 or 5 in the morning last night.
Jeez. Well, I went to,
and I hope I don't know. Like, I'm not going to bother tipping my Uber driver quite yet. If like rest in peace if that car exploded or whatever. But
was it a Elon Musk box?
I don't.
Thing?
It was something similar. I don't think it was a Tesla, but like it was definitely one of those electric cars.
Right. Wow. Well, glad you made it home.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about some wrestling if you know what happened in the world of wrestling. If you can remember all that you need to know what happened in the world of wrestling this week is Mama Wayne. That's all you need to know.
Oh, yeah. The matriarchy.
Is that the new name of the group?
I think so.
What does that even mean? It's like
matriarchy?
Like the woman version?
Yeah. It's like the woman as the head. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were away last week, and there was other wrestling, and I was trying to catch up on like all the other stuff. We were in Texas last week, but we didn't go to Ring of Honor, and I kept hearing all this buzz about Takeshita and Bandito. So I turned it on this morning, and wow, honestly, fantastic match. I know that Friday we went out and got Terry Black's barbecue, and we went to Red River, and I'm not regretting that at all. But Takeshita Bandito is in running for one of the best matches I've watched this year. Even with the outcome knowing already, watching it today, I was like, wow, was not expecting just a hell of a battle between those two. So I can't recommend that match.
It's funny. I did. I still haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but you say about knowing the result. What I found interesting is until I think it might have been one of the G1 shows, I've noticed that they haven't actually said the result on TV. Like they've been talking about how great this match is, but I found it interested in like kind of subtle promotion that they haven't said like, and of course Bandito retaining his ROH championship at the show.
Well, they've just what match are you talking about?
No, Takeshita Bandito. There's been a couple of times I've noticed on TV where they've talked about how big this match is without actually revealing the result, which I found like quite smart. I mean, you can assume,
I think
you'd
they
have seen
did
Takeshita out there with the belt, but
yeah, they did it all in. Like they told you because he had the belt, right? So they're like, hey, Bandito beat him, but
I don't think he came out.
And then I just also watched Takeshita. I just watched Takeshita the G1 match, and they also were like,
they mentioned it there. I was pretty sure at All In they didn't, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you would have figured it out.
No, you'd have figured it out. I just noticed it wasn't like they didn't blatantly go like, oh, and Bandito defeating Takeshita in a classic. They were more just going, check out this match and trying to keep it semi-spoiler free for you.
No, I really recommend it. It was awesome. Like the crowd, everyone was there, was on their feet for like it's pretty long. It's like 30 minutes easily.
Yeah,
but,
I definitely want to watch that.
But
maybe on my flight tomorrow.
It's really just like those two are some of my favorite. Takeshita is my one ace, and like I love watching him right now. We'll talk about the G1 and some things too, but like I think he could be a shining star with New Japan right now. Like they're in some trouble again with like stars and injuries and stuff, as we'll talk about. But I do think like if they were to go with him right now, that could potentially work out for both parties. If you were to use this guy, he's signed to them. They signed him for a reason. And I told you I'm going to the Peter Pan, but he's not on the poster. And I'm like, oh man, every other wrestler is. Why isn't he? And I would be sad, but
when is your show?
It's August 31st. They're doing 2 nights, 30th and 31st, I do believe, of August. And they
so the G1 would have finished by then.
The G1's over, so yeah. I'm like, okay, and All Out is like 2 weeks after that or something. So which I'm back in Toronto for. So I'm assuming he's wrestling on that show. And I would, if I miss Takeshita at Corcoran Hall, cool. But if I get to see Takeshita Okada in Toronto, I think it'll make up for it. So that's what my prayer circle is right now: is Okada Takeshita one-on-one, or a Bushi. Fuck it. I would like to see him show up at Peter Pan. That would be pretty cool. But anyways, I would recommend Takeshita Bandito. Definitely, I'm understanding the buzz from it now. So a lot of people were like, "Did you watch it?" So I finally did, and it totally hit for me. Where do you want to start today? WWE, AEW?
I think start with AEW.
Sure, yeah. Like it's all the fallout from last weekend, which again we both praised. Fantastic show. Certain things hit, certain things didn't. Cough, cough. Kenny Omega's theme song.
I've seen a couple of people defend it, and all I got to say is, you're wrong. It's dog shit.
I don't even if it was just an intro to Battle Cry, there would be no issue. It's just like that's the song. Even Final Fantasy bros are like, I don't know about that one. That's how you know. It's like the final. I don't really know much about Final Fantasy. I like Kingdom Hearts. That was cool, but like. If those people are like, what's going on with this theme song? It's like, I don't know. There's worse themes. I don't know. Maybe there isn't, but Battle Cry is like right there. So yeah, we praised All In last week. It was a ton of fun to go down there and check everything out. It seems like, is there some injuries coming out of this show? Is there going to be some possibility of Will Ospreay not wrestling at Forbidden Door in London?
I'm hoping he's by the sounds of it, he's been banged up for a while, so taking a bit of a break. I'm hoping London is a month away, right? 4 weeks away, August 24th. I'm hoping he'd be back for that. It would be a real shame if he's not there for that show. I think he is someone, Forbidden Door, they've got a bit of a luxury this time round because they can build to All Out. They've got a lot more time to build to All Out than normal, where they can put a lot of these sort of, I don't know, story matches together. Forbidden Door, you can just throw up a graphic in a way with some of these. Like it worked for the last one we had in Toronto, where it was just give us a graphic of Danielson Okada, give us a graphic of Omega and Ospreay, and your sickos are gonna know, like, oh, that sounds great. That's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I think Ospreay is someone, if he is able to do a match in London, I'm sure he's going to be doing everything in his power to be there. I don't think he needs to be on TV. I don't think he could send in a video promo or whatever. But I think Ospreay is one of those wrestlers, and especially in a London crowd, where you could just throw up a graphic of, we're getting Ospreay versus X. However, I think that opponent would have possibly been Gabe Kidd, who I just found out this morning is out with a leg injury, which is removing him from the G1. And obviously he was in my pick'ems, like making to the semifinals of the G1 this year. I think he's a huge prospect for New Japan. And obviously with the AEW connection and with the show being in London, I think he was going to be set for one of the big matches. And I think Ospreay was kind of earmarked for that.
Yeah, no, I do think that was the opponent, even the whole Death Riders and Ospreay being kind of on Hangman's team, and them brawling at All In and everything. So definitely, like, who else is like New Japan? Like that was the kind of another one of their, okay, well, we got Gabe Kidd, like he was a project and it's been somewhat working to an extent. And now that's got to derail something. They must have had plans for him, right?
I mean, and this is if assuming Ospreay is back in time for Forbidden Door, you just got to do Zach and Will. That is the biggest match. Like they're the two biggest British stars in wrestling. Sorry, Drew. And yeah, I think that makes a whole lot of sense. They've worked together so many times, where I think if Ospreay is a bit banged up, I think Zach could get a good match out of him while still being relatively safe as well. And I think that crowd would eat it up. And on top of that, I don't think there's a clear opponent for Zack Sabre Jr. on the AEW side for the IWGP Championship. So that would be the match I'd book. But if Ospreay is out, that kind of does shake up a lot of things. And especially if we're maybe not getting Omega as well, who seems to be taking a little bit of time off as well. That card kind of in flux right now.
Yeah. So there's been some reports, I think Fightful saying both of these things, where they're talking about Ospreay maybe taking some time off with some injuries, Kenny Omega taking some time off. Maybe Kenny Omega isn't part of Forbidden Door, and that's done by design. Maybe that was always in the plans or something like that. But Ospreay, I would put him up if he can wrestle. It would be so weird if he had to. It's like RVD at ECW One Night Stand. It's like, man, I'm the reason this show is here and happening, but I'm fucking injured now.
Rey Mysterio at Worlds Collide.
Yeah, it's like, man, I'm on the poster. I am the poster, and I'm hurt. But I'm hoping that this isn't the case and that we do see him. Zack Sabre Jr. would be the great matchup there. These two obviously being boys and have wrestled a million times together, but on this kind of stage and this platform at the O2, right? Like that's pretty cool. So I would expect that it would suck because you would expect Ospreay to lose that match, but I guess that maybe that won't necessarily hurt him or shenanigans or whatever. But yeah, I almost forgot Zach was the champion in New Japan. I have not necessarily watched as much New Japan this year. I promised myself every year at Wrestle Kingdom, okay, this was a good show. Let me jump back in. And then I do, and it's still just Evil and Sonata wearing a thong or something. And I'm like, actually, I'm not necessarily too into this as much anymore. But the G1 is a great time. And like dipping your toes in around this time, mixing with the Forbidden Door, like you would hope Ospreay's on that. You would hope Okada maybe gets. It's weird because Okada versus who? Tanahashi? Like, what? He's already wrestled everyone over there.
I mean, that was Okada's final New Japan match, wasn't it?
In Japan
match. That is something you could do. Okada Tanahashi. I think there's I think one last time we're on this retirement tour. And I think similarly to, we saw the buzz of Okada Omega for the first time on US soil, first time outside Japan. I think even at this stage in Tanahashi's career, booking Tanahashi Okada on international soil one last time, I think that could be a big deal. That's not the worst idea in the world, I don't think.
And Okada just crushes him.
Yeah.
Hey, the pose, underrated pose from last week after Okada beat Kenny is the pose where like it's Kota and Kenny, like he's helping Kenny up. And Okada notices this. So Okada raises the belt, walks right over to them and grins ear to ear like the Joker holding up the belt. Oh, my God. And then to outdo himself in healing meaning HEEL, he then changes his music and even gets even more hated online. But
okay, so I've seen a lot of hate for this online. I've only listened to it once. I've only seen it live, this music, and didn't do a whole lot for me. But like, there's other tunes that at first I was like, oh, that sucks, and then kind of grow on me. I'm okay with it if when Okada eventually turns babyface, he gets his old music back. Like I felt this felt just like a repackaging of Okada in a way. Like I know he's been heel since joining AEW, but this felt really like let's complete the heel act by stripping away the music, having Don Callis there, being this like new secondary top championship. That's it just felt like repackaging for me rather than Tony necessarily going, oh, can't afford that, his New Japan theme anymore. I don't know, sure, but we'll see when he...
Yeah, this is definitely worth way more money to have this theme song. This is like some like J-rock band, right? Like it seems like this is a song he specifically picked.
Right.
So yeah, I honestly, I've only watched it the one time, like many right now on Wednesday, but I totally think it works for a I think beating Omega is the new, like, okay, the new chapter starts now because we're not going to go back to that, at least right now. And this, like, let's go in a whole new direction, new championship, new version of Okada, Don Callis, etc. So why not have this? And you said it, like, when the day comes for the like original babyface Rainmaker, when that coin flip hits, it's going to mean so much more.
It's like when he took the pants off, the long boys,
exactly.
And everyone lost their mind. And wrestling is funny like that, but it works. You take something away from people, it means so much more when you give it back. So,
I mean, we've been lucky enough to go to a lot of Okada matches in our life. And we noticed he didn't have Okada bucks. He didn't have Okada dollars at All In. And that to me was like a new direction. Like, whoa, you're being even a bigger heel by not giving people the Okada dollars. So
right, he's all in crypto now, probably, and stuff like that.
His logo does look like the crypto logo,
the
Rainmaker thing. Yeah. Buy Bitcoin. So that should be Don Callis' next thing. Now that he's got Okada, puts people in the what was his move? The money clip.
Mm-hmm.
And then takes their dollars. So yeah, we were kind of. I'm sorry for going all over the place there, but yeah, let's go through Dynamite quickly. I came over to watch Dynamite. We had a bit of a night on Wednesday night.
Oh yeah,
we watched Dynamite. You made some food.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. It was like old times.
Yeah,
except old times probably had a few Guinness in the system as well. And then we watched Dynamite. Hangman Page coming out, the new champion. All is right in the world. With Hangman Page looking good with this. I love his Western coat, his jacket that matched with his title belt. He cut a really great babyface promo, thanking the fans for sticking with him. The grassroots DIY pro wrestling, known as AEW. I thought it was a really heartfelt kind of thing. He's always been a favorite of mine, especially since AEW launching, and I think it's kind of come full circle with the all-in win and everything.
I don't think Page gets mentioned enough for his promo ability. I think he's very strong in his promos. He's not necessarily as like flashy as say an MJF or someone, but I think he always sounds very solid. And I think it's the sincerity in his voice that makes him just such a great baby face. Like you feel he's genuinely speaking from the heart. And it's been the kind of black cloud, the elephant in the room, which I think they've navigated really well in this whole Hangman Page story. And it's almost like Swerve has been CM Punk's avatar the last 3 years. You know that Page talking about things being shitty, and we saw in that the comments after All In went off air where he goes, I never thought I'd get this opportunity again. I never thought I'd be the guy again. If you can read the lines and between the lines and be like, hey, maybe I potentially fucked things up with CM Punk and this company, and maybe I'd have been punished for that. Maybe I would never get this opportunity again. And having that be for the last 3 years, Swerve being this nemesis who on screen, you can say these things, and my life has been hell the last 3 years, and you can pin that whole storyline on Swerve. I think there's been a nice kind of navigation of if you know with this Hangman story. And I think I do feel he's genuinely happy. I got that feeling. He says at the end of All In, for the first time in 3 years, I feel happy. And he's saying this as he's covered in blood and tears rolling down his face. And he does feel like the guy now. And I think that connection with the crowd is so important. I wouldn't be thinking of turning him, Swerve, Ospreay, any of those three anytime soon, because there's so much money in Hangman right now. Yeah. And what I loved was I felt immediately this this corrected stuff that they fucked up in his first title reign.
Oh, right away. The first time he didn't even cut a promo like this when he
I'm pretty sure he was like top of the second hour, like in his first reign. Like he never felt like the champion. Having him come out, cut this like rousing promo, like, you know, the continuing story with Swerve, like thanking Swerve, calling himself champion of the fucking world, was a great way to end it. Just looks the part. That belt looks fantastic on him. And he felt like the guy. This was completely the right move. You know, your brand new champion, opening Dynamite, closing Dynamite. He felt big. And I think they often say like the second title reign is the one that really establishes you, right? And I'm getting that feeling this time. And they need to keep it up. They need to keep Hangman being the main character of AEW moving forward. He needs to be the guy who's on all the shows, opening all the shows, closing the shows, feeling like the big deal, the champion that he is.
Yeah, this already like course corrects what some of the issues were with that first reign, where it's like the whole story of him and Kenny was so good, but as soon as he won, it was like, yeah, that story's over, and we just kind of like let it fizzle out a little bit. Whereas coming out right away, again, if you follow and you kind of know some of the things he's saying, you'll pick up on things. If not, it's still a fantastic promo. He's definitely an underrated promo. And Hangman was, and always will be. Right.
Yes.
That's how I view things. I love Hangman, and I think he's such an underrated talent. And I'm happy that last week I was blown away from that match with Moxley. I'm still buzzing from it. I have not watched it back in full, but I can't lie. And I have definitely showed some people in my life, hey, look at this match. 30 seconds in, the guy pulls out a fork. And of course, you're going to have one friend or two be like, oh, come on. That's not. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. Sorry, what is that? How did they get the blood to squirt out of the guy's forehead like that? Yeah.
It's ketchup. It's ketchup packets, camouflage.
You got to watch WWE Unreal to figure that out, I guess. No, I'm still buzzing like off of that match and that moment. And he's been a character that we followed for such a long time, and it's awesome to see. And I can't wait to see what they do with this run. Hopefully they keep it strong like this. Make Hangman look strong, you know?
So there's a promo later in the night from MJF. Obviously he won the Casino Gauntlet match, and
he was on fire. Shot. He has refound his something. He got his MJF got his mojo back. I don't know. Yeah. He was what was happening with, I don't know, scheduling or story or whatever, but this Hurt Syndicate, MJF winning, and this promo felt like the way the balance in AEW is everything is okay now, because Hangman is a champion and MJF is someone who's got like the cash in thing, and he hit his stride with this taped in promo here.
Yeah, and kind of alluding to the fact that the not briefcase, the clipboard, if you will, is more of a plan B, and that he's going to potentially go for a title shot in a legitimate way to start with. We kind of saw this with Seth Rollins, right? In 2015, he had the title match at Royal Rumble, the three-way. He was like, and this briefcase is my plan B. Right. I wonder if that's like an immediate program to have these two. I could see down the line, you know, him losing a match and immediately cashing in potentially, or something like that. But MJF Hangman seems the big long-term feud, maybe. Do you see that all out, or do you see that maybe that being a bit more prolonged? And if so, who do you see as potential challengers for Hangman?
Yeah, it reminds me, like, similar, the first ever Money in the Bank when Edge won. No one knew how it worked at the time, so you didn't even think he could just cash in. And he did something similar where it's like, oh, don't worry, like, I'm going to win a title shot, therefore I won't even need this kind of contract. And I think we could see something from that. I hope MJF doesn't take the title from Hangman early. I don't think it would be a bad idea to have MJF take it from him down the line. Yeah, like, so if you're saying he gets an actual title shot, he should lose, and then tease a cash in and it doesn't happen, and then hold on to that contract for a long time, and then eventually cashes it in maybe the right way. Maybe he doesn't win. Maybe he tries to cash in and it fails. I also feel that maybe I kind of don't want to see Hurt Syndicate break up until after MJF's champion. I think MJF saying, like, being part of the Hurt Syndicate is his way to get the
the AEW championship.
Yeah.
And I think they should pay that off. I'd be hesitant on breaking them up too early. And I think actually having Hurt Syndicate eventually help MJF with a cash in, become the champion, that can then open up separate things. You can then have, Bobby Lashley and Hangman spin off in a feud because Lashley cost Hangman the title and stuff like that. Because I do see these tag titles somehow making their way to FTR for FTR, Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't go for that Bobby Lashley MJF story quite yet. I think this is working right now. So keep it like this.
MJF is in his element again, like being the guy with this contract right away at All In during when that match was awesome. The casino, him winning was the obvious choice, but him with holding the contract during the We Hurt People just had me laughing so hard. So like he's back in his element, and on top of that, MJF having a great year already. I was just watching Chris Van Vliet's interview with Adam Sandler, who has the highest of praise for MJF. I think MJF might have himself. Maybe he'll have to take some more time off because you probably have to go film some more movies because you got the Adam Sandler rub saying that he's now in MJF's corner. So I think that's pretty cool seeing Happy Gilmore next week on Netflix. It comes out on my birthday. I'm very excited to watch this. Happy Gilmore 2. It's going to be terrible, but I'm very looking forward to it. Happy Gilmore had a special place in my heart, so I will be seated. And seeing wrestlers in it is pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, I'm loving already the new chapter of how we started. You started Dynamite with Hangman saying, "I'm the fucking champ," and MJF being like, "Yeah, but watch your back." And like already that's sets up a great like next few months of something. And who else would you put up against? Yeah, like other if All Out, like I don't know about Forbidden Door, Hangman versus Goto or something could be cool, but like
Goto's injured right now.
Right, man, everyone's injured over there. Holy
Shingo's always someone you can do.
Cowboy and the Dragon, book it.
I think Ishii's been positioned too low down in AEW alone. I wouldn't do that, but Shingo would be the guy I'd probably go with.
If we're not going MJF Hangman as one of the big feuds for that belt, I'm sure there'll be maybe a title defense on TV or a special thing before we get to September 20th, which is a long time from now, like 2 months from now. If it's not MJF in Toronto, what is Hangman's like
on the AEW side?
Yeah,
there's no one really clear. I mean, he's doing something else right now, but I would say Kyle Fletcher on your heel side is someone I could see who could, you're giving the rub of having a world title match, but it's too early to give him. It's always difficult, that first title defense, because you don't believe Hangman will win. That's why it's always in his previous run, it was Lance Archer. We always say it's Kane. Kane or Big Show is your first challenger. And I think that is what makes this a little difficult. It's you want someone to try and elevate, but obviously isn't going to win it. But Fletcher's tied up with the TNT title and all that. Yeah. Not that has stopped Tony Khan from booking that. Remember, just last year, Jack Perry was TNT champion going after Bryan Danielson's world title. So, but I'd say someone along the lines of Fletcher would be a great first opponent. What about you?
You asked me, do you remember if Jack Perry fought Bryan Danielson? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did now. It wasn't even that bad. It's just like, man, all the people. I wish Jack Perry comes back with something more creative, but at this point, he didn't necessarily impress me or anyone in that run. But yeah, completely forgot about that. Takeshita, he could be someone, although he's kind of tied up, obviously, right now with the G1. Okada, you can't because you just gave him a third title. So it's like he can't be going for another one.
Takeshita's a good one.
Takeshita Hangman, like that's the story.
I mean, we had that great match, exactly. Early in his career, so you can tie that all back together. And
hey, I'm changing my prayer circle. Hangman Takeshita would be an ultimate banger in Toronto or in any city if you were to go that route, because I can't necessarily think of outside of MJF being your top heel right now, like that would be. I mean, that match too. They've obviously wrestled before, but I don't think we've scratched the surface yet of a Hangman MJF like juicy rivalry kind of thing. So eventually we will have to get to that. We had Fletcher on Dynamite. He was facing Mascara Dorado, right? This match is pretty crazy with all the nutso stuff Mascara can do with that squared circle. But this is pretty cool. Fletcher obviously getting the win here. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but they did have a segment with Fletcher and Dustin and Don Callis where they're clearly going to go into the direction of Fletcher chasing for that TNT title, which will be his soon.
Yeah, we said on our post show, I think it was actually a bit of a stroke of genius doing the Dustin win at All In, because that crowd was so depressed and not up for that 4-way at all after the Adam Cole announcement. And I think the Dustin moment, it was exactly that. It was a great moment having Dustin win, giving him his flowers. This doesn't have to be a long run. You can do a couple, like he had a promo on Collision. It sounds like he wants to be a fighting champion. So do the open challenge gimmick. Have him work a couple of Collisions and Dynamites with TNT title defenses against some up-and-comers that you can give Dustin a win. But eventually Kyle's going to take this, and I think it's going to be very bloody as well when he does take it. And it's going to be all the better for Fletcher because it's going to give him so much heat from defeating Dustin.
Yeah, I wanna. What is the match? The cowbell match? What did they do? The
bull rope
match. Yeah, I would like to see that. Yeah, I like the promo. I checked it out on Collision where he was doing the keep stepping thing, and then Don Callis comes out and pretty much is like, yeah, you're the third wheel of the Rhodes family, and they're shitty anyways. And then he gets beat up by Fletcher, and there's a pull apart kind of thing. So we're eventually going to Fletcher and Dustin, but at least they're letting it breathe a little bit. They didn't just have Dustin versus Fletcher and then that was it. Like maybe they're realizing, hey, you know what, we could stretch this out a little bit.
Yeah, there's some fun to have with it, right?
Yeah, he's you said like his wrestling may be the best ever in his AEW run, and I really liked his promo as well. So I think they've turned a negative into a positive with this TNT title stuff, because eventually it will go to Fletcher, and he's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I think now it's an even more interesting story than the Adam Cole Fletcher story.
Yeah,
like. As awful as that sounds, like it's that there wasn't that much heat going into that, and now it feels like
it felt like layers. A foregone conclusion, right? Even in the interview I had with Fletcher, you did get the sense where he's like, "Yeah, I'm taking this." Like
exactly. So I think that's pretty cool that they're working with the best that they can here. On Dynamite, we saw the Bucks didn't show up in their founding fathers limo. They didn't even show up in an Uber. They showed up in a lift. It was the lift thing that really, I've told my stories on this show about Lyft over how I've sometimes chosen Lyft over Uber and then instantly regretted it. I thought that was a nice touch there.
They probably had one of those promo codes, right?
Yeah. Okay, so bum ass Bucks is the new gimmick going into the new era of AEW. Their EVP titles have been stripped, and now the Young Bucks are broke. So they're ashamed as they get out of their, what is this, like a Kia? I don't know. They're ashamed that their Lyft driver shows up and they're arriving to Dynamite. This is so stupid, but I'm in. Yeah, I'm totally like the fact that they're Titantron now. They don't have pyro. They've been tweeting about how they had to take economy flights. And like the graphics are like, these guys are losers, and like everything's, all the AEW like employees that they've bullied are now bullying them is the gimmick here. This is really meta, but I'm into it.
I like it, and I think it's you want the Bucks are very much like I'd say the New Day, in the sense that they are a main event act. I mean, New Day maybe not so much today, but they have been a main event act in the past. But you can't always just go, all right, you're the tag champs. You're the tag champs. You're challenging for the tag titles. You need to find other creative ways to have them involved, have them in feuds. And yeah, I think this is a way to freshen up the characters a bit, have them still do their goofy comedy, but keeping them away from the tag titles. Now, I do think they'll eventually get there, and I see it being I see that eventually being maybe where Edge and Christian drop the titles to these guys, and
Right.
that's where they get their mojo back and they can start getting their swag back and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was this week.
What else are we gonna see from we've had bum ass Corbin in the past when Baron Corbin was broke, right? We've seen other Shawn Michaels when he was broke, he had to work for JBL. That was embarrassing. He had to be
They should be wearing their like indie gear again. They should go back to the tassels and the tights just because they can't afford their they've had to sell their current gear and their Jordans and all that.
Yeah, their shoes now, they're like wearing like Payless or Walmart or their own shoes that they're wearing. Like there's a lot of fun to be had with these guys now pretending to be middle class fancy. Essentially is what these guys are going to be, and I'm kind of into I'm always going to be a Buck supporter, but this is already like, okay, why you said it, like how else can we keep you in a story that's not just the tag titles, that's something a bit unorthodox. I think this could potentially be some fun stuff. And what was the cherry on top? Again, I'm not saying it's not silly, but it's wrestling. The cherry on top for me, that we were watching this together, I don't know why this made me laugh, but when they go to do the EVP trigger, they realize, oh my God, we don't have a name for this move anymore. And they just completely can't even hit the move. Was just so stupid, but so funny to me.
It's something we did bring up, I think, on the All In review when Cope came out and everyone's distracted. I think you've got to find ways to suspend your disbelief in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think we just have to accept that all pro wrestlers have major ADHD.
Yeah.
They get distracted very easily. They like shiny things. They like music. Forgetting or not knowing what to call their move anymore can potentially cost you the match.
Yeah. I think it was pretty funny. And then it ended up because like before it was the BTE trigger and they don't have that anymore. So I don't know, like this one, what was it called? EVP trigger.
Yeah.
So now they got to figure out with the Don Callis family, the DCF trigger. Is that what it's going to be called? Because now they're part of the Don Callis family, right?
Right.
So they won this match.
Yeah.
Did they not? So the match on Wednesday was crazy. It had like Brody Lee, the Bucks, Bandito, and everything. Hechicero, who's now a member of the Don Callis family, is the most hilarious shit ever.
It's ridiculous. And like I like Don Callis. I think he's a great heel manager.
Part of the joke.
It's all Callis wrestling at the moment. He's just on this show so much. It's too much.
I think it's so funny that he'll just ask everyone to be part of the family. Like he will break the records just simply to break the record of having the biggest faction in wrestling. But I fucking think that is hilarious. So maybe he gives them some money because the Bucks need some sort of money to get by. Like maybe he helps book them. I mean, it's weird because he's with Okada and they were trying to separate them for like with being with Okada, but having, them together, I think it'll be the right move going forward. We'll see where we get with the young, not so rich and famous Bucks. Adam Copeland cut a promo. He basically said something about contract tampering. Not quite sure. What did he mean there? I bet Tony Khan was like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about when you were in the other company? We don't do that.
Hey, you can fantasize about like, you can play for United and fantasize about winning the Champions League with Real Madrid. Right. You don't have to necessarily be talking to agents, and FTR are not on the management side of AEW. But I thought this was smart. Like they found a way to kind of push this match off until Toronto. It feels like it's. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why Tony Khan was like, sure, guys, yeah, you can, like, if Cope attacks you, he's fired. Like, realistically, why is Tony Khan agreeing to that?
Yeah.
Like, that's a bit crazy. But that aside, it's if Cope can't get his hands on them because he'll be fired. If so, I think this allows time to, I like that Cope didn't just hug Christian right away and forgive him. I think actually it explains the criticism of him running out and posing and getting his pyro off and everything, because he's like, nah, I wasn't there for Christian. Like, fuck him. Like, I'll help him out, but also fuck him. I'm in no rush.
Yeah.
I thought he kind of tied that up quite nicely. But it means, we essentially will have to get these tag titles onto FTR, and then Cope and Christian work their way up to getting a title shot to get their hands on them. So I wonder even if there's, if we're getting FTR and Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door, maybe if there's another team in there, whether you have like a CNC potentially costing, like helping FTR win this because it's their way of getting their hands on FTR, maybe, and somewhat protecting the Hurt Syndicate.
We need to get there. Yeah, we need to get there where there's titles, and I don't know. I think it would be better with the titles. Like, as much as the Hurt Syndicate is cool that they were champs and stuff, the run, there's not really any other teams. If they didn't give it to was it Sky Speed?
Jet Speed.
I think it would make sense to have Edge and Christian back together for a tag title run. I think that would add a little something to it. And I mean, the Toronto show's already sold really well, but you add the advertisement of Edge and Christian together.
Yeah,
I think
for the first time,
the place is going to go nuts for that. Like, that's we're going to eat that up. So we're going to get the 5-second pose, and for once, Toronto will act like we have a world championship again. So,
and then you can hold the Bucks off for Full Gear, Wrestle Dream, one of them to get to that match.
Eventually, we need FTR, Bucks, and Edge and Christian in like a TLC like crazy thing. As before, Edge and Christian can't do that kind of stuff anymore. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if we go to that direction. And I would imagine Toronto is the destination for the Canadian. What did we call them again? Canadian Club, CNC, ENC, versus FTR. I think that's the match to go to. We didn't really mention, like, it's kind of ballsy to have Hangman win the belt, and then we're gonna do 6 weeks in a row in Chicago. Like, damn, okay, you're really flexing on him. Thankfully, at least I didn't hear any CM Punk chants yet in this residency, but I love the venue and the look of it. Like, obviously a smaller venue, but they're running here for the next little while. I think it's an all right move if people are going to be wanting to be there and rabid and sound good on TV. But then I couldn't help think, wow, what a great balcony. It would be great if we just had if we had Toni Storm show up on a balcony like that. And that's exactly what happened, because Toni Storm gives her winning speech after All in Texas on this balcony, because she's the only balcony bitch in the biz, as she said on Collision. But I love this as well. She looked the part, the way they made it black and white with the red glimpses and everything. Like, she said the tramp is still the champ, and that Mercedes, if you ever want another shot, you can come back for seconds, because this buffet is always open, darling. She mentioned Luther getting injured in the process.
His dick came off, right?
We got chance of tits, and Athena kind of threatening to cash in her contract on Toni Storm sooner rather than later. So some great direction there. I'm really loving this Toni Storm character. One of the best characters going in wrestling right now. Modern day wrestling characters go. Like, she's up there. She's living the gimmick like the Undertaker in the 90s.
Oh, she's awesome. And it feels like she's become the gimmick now. She's not playing this part. Like, she completely owns it. It feels believable, even how outrageous it is. I thought Athena sounded great as well. I like that direction. And, there's been questions about why Athena's been hiding away in ROH. But, I don't hate it. Like, I think now we're seeing it in execution. I think having Athena have this kind of epic run with the title in ROH and being away from AEW, it's kind of built up a bit of an aura. Now, we're not people that watch ROH. We say that. Like, I haven't watched a great deal of Athena's matches there, but I've been hearing good things, and it's built her up as kind of this almost like mythical figure in wrestling. Whereas if she was just brought in to AEW, I could see her being another Taya Valkyrie, another Deonna Purrazzo, having her title chase and then just disappears into obscurity and Collision and Rampage and that kind of thing. Whereas now I think we saw from that women's gauntlet, like how well they've built up the women's division now. They've got a great roster of people. And now Athena's coming in feeling like a main eventer. She's built up a bit of a legacy behind her. She's now got this aura around her. And it feels like another top challenger for Tony's title rather than this is something we're doing this month and then we'll disappear. I can see Athena having a bit of a lengthy feud with Tony and perhaps even being the person to take this title from her as well.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I would really like to watch that match. I mean, I kind of broken record, but we just recently reviewed the first WWE Evolution, and like she comes across as one of the wow, she's going to be a big star. She comes across as the biggest cheers, biggest pops, and like some of the biggest spots in the show. And you're like, oh, she's easily going to be one of the biggest stars. And that just didn't happen. And then she comes to AEW, and like you said, she's been like hidden away, Rapunzel in this tower that you got to watch Ring of Honor if you want to watch Athena. And some people are like, okay, cool, that's awesome. And watch it. And there's some good stuff. But some people don't. And then you don't see her for a while. And then she's brought up or mentioned. You're like, oh yeah, she's under contract. But then it's almost like this weird crossover when the Mercedes match happened on Dynamite, where it was like, whoa, where have you been? Like, we missed you. Yeah. Whatever this is, we want this back on Dynamite. And since then, I think her stock went back up because you got a glimpse, like she was fighting Mercedes, arguably one of the best doing it today. So if she can hang or, even outperform Mercedes, it's like, why isn't she just one of the biggest stars on the show regularly? And then I think the moment in Texas, All In, her winning this, I think that's the right step in the right direction, because eventually we got to get Mercedes versus Athena 2. Before we get to Tony Mercedes 2, we got to get Athena Mercedes 2. And I think that is going to absolutely cook.
That could be a hot triple threat one day as well, right?
Yeah. I think we were definitely on the same page when it came to Ember Moon and NXT and WWE. It's like easily one of the best wrestlers, but the character was always like weird. It's like, wait, are you a werewolf? But then you're making like dad jokes on your promos and you're giggling. And then here she's kind of the same, where she's acting like a bit of a badass and a heel when everyone just wants to cheer her. So it's still kind of backwards, but when they find that footing, it'll.
I wouldn't say it's back. I mean, she's been a heel for her whole ROH run.
She's been a heel, but you wouldn't have known that if you watched Texas last week. She comes out, right? Yeah. It's like, oh wait, that's her. Oh, sick. And then I watch her promo on Collision, and she's like the Minions thing and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, you're trying to be a bad guy, but everyone just genuinely likes you right now. Mm-hmm. So eventually that will have to flip. But either way, Tony versus Athena should be fantastic bit of business, and I would totally can't wait to watch that match. But I'm loving because then Athena on Collision did a promo from the balcony, but then Tony comes out and is like, no, that's my fucking balcony.
That's my spot.
Kind of chased her around and stuff. So this upcoming week is Billy Starks versus Tony, and Tony says if Billy can beat her, she'll give her a title shot, which kind of swings something around. But I think that could be a pretty good match too. So the women's division finally really clicking with AEW.
It's been a great week for women's wrestling, across the board.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. That's something like easily could, if Athena versus Tony isn't like the all-out match, we could easily heat up like a Megan Bain, or they got a few waiting in the wings that you could push.
Tekla's getting steam. Like
Tekla,
she is another one. Like she's joined Julia Hart and Sky Blue, and I think aesthetically, like that team looks great. Like
the
looks
creepy
great.
Girls. Yeah.
But the crowd love Tekla right now. She comes across as such a baby face, even though she's trying to be a heel. I like that. But people are the same with Julia Hart, right? The pop Julia Hart got at All In Texas, like genuinely surprised me. I was like, wow, there are a lot of Julia Hart fans here. So I think they could operate almost in that House of Black role where they're like tweeners. This group, and I like it. This trios.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty cool combo. Adding her to the mix, like
we're gonna get women's tag championship soon.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't get that like at an announcement around All In week or something, but I do suspect that would be coming like in the future. Why not?
It's something it's something you could crown at Forbidden Door, because in the build up you could have CMLL talents and Stardom talents tagging up to do a little tournament, do a little 8-team tournament, and do the winners at Forbidden Door, or do a 4-way or something like that. But you've got these teams. You've got the Tekla, Julia Hart, Sky Blue team. Eventually, getting Willow and Statlander back together would be a good thing. Lower down, you've got your Tyres and Dianas who are together. Like, there are other teams you could make, and I think now you're building this women's roster, and it feels strong. Like, watching that women's gauntlet, I've heard a lot of people that preferred it to the men's gauntlet. Like, you look at the talent and you go, yeah, you've got a great women's roster now.
Yeah, no, I think they're really like firing and at all cylinders. And I think obviously having the star power of like Tony and Mercedes in the last year, they've really knocked it out the park, whether it's Dynamite matches and promos. Like, they did a great job building up to Mercedes and Tony. And then the match really delivered for me too. So like they're finding something. And I think a tag titles wouldn't be the worst idea for AEW right now, considering they have a lot of women and they got to do something with some of the storylines and the tag teams. It's like we say in NXT, it's like, why are these women tagging when there's no reason to, because there's no gold to get? It's kind of like similar thing. Like, why bother being in a tag division when there isn't anything to like strive for? So we'll see. I'm trying to think of what else happened. We mentioned Okada got new music. He scarred the world by changing his iconic music. We had the what did you call it? The patriarchy?
The matriarchy.
Matriarchy. Sorry, I was distracted by Kip Sabian. I mean, Mama Wayne is the new leader of her son's group. And I swear, if you play Nick Wayne's promo,
oh boy,
and just close your eyes, to me, it sounds like Napoleon Dynamite. Do the chickens have large talons? I love Nick Wayne, but
Braden, really how many champions have you won?
He has won many champions.
Man, he said that twice. So he was like, I'm gonna. What was it? He calls it, instead of championship, he calls it champion. And I'm like, okay, people slip up, but then he did it a second time, and you're like, oh, Nick.
Yeah,
you poor wee flower.
I don't mind it. We gotta give him something. He's young. He's, from what we've seen from him, he's really good. I don't know quite what we do if like your stable is you're evil, you're a Ring of Honor something champion, your mom is there, Kip's Beetlejuice looking Kip Sabian kind of thing. I don't know what we do with this group, but they got to get some revenge on the Christians. Got to get revenge on them.
Now that's the thing. I'm wondering, do you have Edge and Christian work their way up to the tag team titles, which by then will be on FTR, I assume, because we have this clause that he can't attack FTR unless it's in a match. So that leads you to think, oh, it'll be a title match.
Right.
But do you save Edge and Christian's first match being against FTR, or is there a way you can get more juice out of this and do Edge and Christian versus the matriarchy at Forbidden Door, and then have some other like little matches building up to All Out?
Right. Yeah, that's definitely possible.
Because there is the loose end, right, of Nick Wayne and Christian. You kind of have to get to that. Now, is it as a tag or as a singles?
Like, you know what? My thinking was, oh, you would have to pay off this storyline. And then I kind of watched this and I'm like, I don't know if you do. I don't know if we need to. Like, would you just blow off the Edge and Christian first debut together in like London, Ontario before All Out against these two? Or like, do you wait to just have them beat these guys up, or these guys get involved or something? I'm not quite sure where we go with the patriarchy.
It's whether as well, like, I know it's Kip Sabian, but there is the element of maybe they'll think, it would be nice to have him on the London show being a Brit and stuff, and doing the tag match at Forbidden Door. It's a draw. It's not necessarily an exciting match, Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian against Edge and Christian, but it's more of the attraction of Edge and Christian's first match back together in 20 years or whatever it is.
I don't want to sound like a dick, but did you just say Kip Sabian's a draw?
No, I didn't.
Okay, right. Just making sure.
I didn't say that at all.
Okay, just checking. We're honest on this show, and I thought for a second you had lost your mind. But
No. I'm saying Edge and Christian together for the first time is the draw.
Yeah,
and you've got this loose end, and they might want to do something with having Kip like wrestle in England, you know, and that's the way it's kind of, you know, The Rock and John Cena against the Awesome Truth. It's not a particularly hot match, but the draw is we're seeing the Rock and Cena team together.
Right.
And whether that's something that you can pay off the patriarchy story, you can get maybe a bit more buzz by having Edge and Christian's first match back together, and then you build to the FTR match.
Right. Either way, like whether or not they wrestle these guys or whether or not they just concerto them and we never see them again or anything. But I'm not necessarily writing off Kip Sabian. Sorry, definitely writing him off. No, I'm not writing them off. Like Nick Wayne, I still think like I said, he's young and he is pretty talented. Whether or not he can't say the word championships, I still think there's something there, and it has nothing to do with Mama Wayne. I swear.
Oh yeah, I mean Nick Wayne's so young, so it's great having him in this position, and like he is going to grow and hopefully learn that there is a hip at the end of Champions down the line.
And then we had like the big tag match at the end of Dynamite as well, where it was like which I guess is kind of strange. There was a 4-way match for the women's. I'm trying to remember off the top
for
of my head.
$100,000.
$100,000.
Yeah,
shit, man. How much money is this guy giving away on those big bonuses on AEW?
They're probably tax write-offs, right?
Yeah, exactly. There was the 4-way that was pretty fun, and then we had, I think, I'm trying to remember now what the main event.
We had Darby return at the end in the.
That's right. Darby saves Hangman and a big tag match, and it kind of left me thinking they were gonna go towards Moxley and Hangman again, and then I watched Collision. They definitely are teasing Hangman and Moxley again, which is very strange considering that was the biggest.
I didn't finish Collision, but what happened there?
So Colt Cabana in Chicago, boom boom, on commentary, and Marina Shafir just walks over, chokes him with a chain. Mox comes out, they hang him with the chain, and then he basically calls Hangman out, saying, "Isn't this your boy? Isn't this your pal, your friend?" It would have been the cherry on top. Would have been while Colt Cabana is just like being choked out here, unconscious. Mox just looks at the camera, waves, and says, "Hey, Colt Cabana, how you doing?" But I wonder if this is not necessarily just a Hangman Mox rematch, or if we're going to like another like team thing. I just don't know why you would already tease Mox calling out Hangman when like the Texas
it's big whether we've got Blood and Guts that now I don't like Blood and Guts necessarily being a annual thing where you've kind of got to like shoehorn everything together to get there, but Blood and Guts usually is around the summer, normally July, August time. Looking at arenas, they've got the one in Cleveland beginning of August. I think it's August 6th, which could be, a big something to build with. I don't want to see the singles match between Hangman and Mox anytime soon. I think that's something you can put off for a long time, because I don't think it does anything for anyone. I think you understand that like Hangman would probably win the rematch. I don't think you can better what you did at All In, and then you're just giving Mox another loss. So I think Blood and Guts would be, I guess, the direction to kind of keep things going and bridge the gap between Forbidden Door, which is almost non-canon in a way. You're doing the cross-promotional stuff, and then to keep interest for All Out, where you've got, I'd imagine Darby and Mox is the All Out singles match. Yeah.
I don't want to see Hanger and Mox again, at least for a long, long time. But I maybe they do go to like a Blood and Guts where that's the reason where they're teasing it. Because I don't know if you want to send Mox, like you could have just had Moxley not show up. I would have had the Death Riders maybe beat him up, but they clearly have continuation of something going on with this story.
Maybe you add a stipulation for Blood and Guts, like Death Riders have to disband, or Moxley can't challenge for the title if they lose Blood and Guts, or something like that. I do see the Death Riders plastic bagging Moxley
Yeah.
at some point, but maybe we're holding that out off till after the Darby match. You know, Darby Moxley has been a story right from the beginning of AEW that that Darby can't beat Jon Moxley. Now, obviously, we know that the original plan was for Darby to be the guy to dethrone Moxley and end this story. It gives him his win and his first championship. Now, I wonder if you get Darby beating Moxley at All Out and Moxley shakes his hand. And that's the equivalent of Darby winning a championship. Like, you did it. You did it. You finally beat me. Shakes his hand. Claudio and Yuta come out and plastic bag Mox. Right. And then Moxley can have a break for a couple of weeks after that.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure where we're going to go with this. I know when they announced the Cleveland show, you were talking to me, should we go to this Dynamite in Cleveland? And then now you're thinking, hey, maybe there's some sort of blood and guts attached to that then.
It kind of makes sense timing wise, the arena size and stuff like that. I feel it could be around then.
We've seen one live before. It was pretty nuts and guts. So yeah, I like Dynamite this week. I liked how they stepped forward, and I guess aside from Hangman Mox, that was the one thing that maybe had me head scratching a little bit. Like, wait, we're going back to that? But I guess we'll have to see, like we just explained, like where that necessarily trails off to. Obviously, Darby being back is a kind of we could easily go in that direction. Like if Moxley versus Darby is All Out, which is the next big just AEW pay-per-view, that would be pretty good. And I'm sure those two would kill each other in a match in 2025. So everything else, though, I really did like where we're going. Like I like the new repackaging of the Bucks, Okada, Hangman being the main character, starting and ending the show on Dynamite. Like there's little things that now they are clicking for me.
Now, obviously, we're not really your ratings guys here, but I think it's got to be said that it was, I think, a kind of disappointing number following the buzz All In had. They had 588,000 viewership. Obviously, we don't know the HBO Max numbers, which could be in its millions, but kind of disappointing, I'd say, coming out of such a great show in All In. What do you think? Is there stuff you think they could have done better with this show? Or
yeah, I don't know. I'm not necessarily a ratings guy either. NXT was also pretty low this week as well, which it usually isn't.
You had the SBs going on, wasn't it?
Was that on Wednesday night? Oh, I think so, but right. Yes, Shane Gillis. Yes. I mean, I don't know if that necessarily would do it. I'm not usually someone to watch live TV anyways, whether I watch wrestling on a Thursday or a Friday. Like for me, I use alternate means, or we use Fight or whatever. So it doesn't necessarily affect me personally, but I mean, obviously people are always going to look at ratings and things like that. Like I don't care when people are like, oh, WWE did the worst number ever on net. I'm like, who cares? They're going to like, that's fine. Like they're fine. People watch things on different means and alternative means, but I don't necessarily think they maybe announced anything huge for Dynamite that made people go, I have to watch this live.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the case, because it wasn't like, for me, we haven't watched a Dynamite at least together live in a long time. And I was like, hey, we were at All In, why don't we hang out and just like watch Dynamite? And we watched it on like a delay. I think we started it at like 10 o'clock. So
yeah, I enjoyed Dynamite this week. I thought it was a pretty good follow-up. I think that number is disappointing, even though we don't necessarily get into it so much. And I do, I think it's great that AEW are running these size venues for where they are at the moment. But I think having this venue, it's not 6 weeks running this venue, it's 6 shows. So it's three collisions, 3 Dynamites that they're there. I think they could have booked somewhere bigger for the Dynamite after All In.
Sure.
We have those special branded Dynamites every now and then. You get your Fighter Fests and things like that. I think they should have branded this some way, as in like All In Fallout Dynamite or something like that. And you could have done a bigger venue and build it as almost like a Raw after WrestleMania, where shit's going to happen on this show and you should be there. Right. I think they could have done a bigger venue, marketed that way. Now, I know things like WrestleMania Backlash is ridiculous, but I do understand to a certain extent the branding of that, because like I've had friends here who've been like, oh, I went to see WrestleMania. I was like, you went to WrestleMania? Yeah, Rico Coliseum. And it's like, you went to a Road to WrestleMania house show, but they see the word WrestleMania and they're like, oh, let's go. I think you could maybe play with that a bit. I think obviously you don't know coming out of All In who's banged up and all that kind of stuff. But I think announcing some things at your presser, some big things that are going to take place on Wednesday, and just to go from a 30,000 people in a stadium to 1,000 people in a theater, as gorgeous as it was, aesthetically, it does just look, oh, okay. It felt like when we went from, the Tampa WrestleMania back to the Thunderdome, and you're like, oh, okay, this feels weird. And I do think that they could maybe bet on themselves a bit more, ran a bigger venue just for this Dynamite. From Collision onwards, you could do your little residency, but really market it as, Dynamite, All In Dynamite, or something like that, to just try and get a few more tickets sold.
Yeah, like I'm sure you could have announced. I don't know what they would have announced, because I'm sure they announced right away, hey, Hangman's gonna cut a promo, or hey, you announce some matches, but obviously some people aren't gonna be wrestling and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know what they could have done, but you easily could have added some hype. I mean, their number one problem has been promotion about AEW. Like, we ran into some people in Dallas who were like, oh, I didn't even know they were doing this up until I saw a bus today that had it. So there was talks and photos that came out of, they got buses with like the screens on it, like the images of All In. They didn't do that until the week up.
Right.
That's not when you do that. You do that like months before, weeks before. You don't do it the weekend of to try to get last minute sales. It's like, there definitely needs to be some changes in how they promote. I don't know, more crossovers, more interviews. I know we've seen them try to do more like TV and media and whatnot, but like WWE, when they're coming to town, like months in advance. Whether it's Scott Stanford, pour one out because I think he's gone. My buddy, my pal, Scott Stanford. They always have these little things that tell you like, hey, if you live in Canada, these are all these shows coming. AEW doesn't really do that. You have Excalibur talk a million miles a minute, running down 7 different shows. I don't know. Maybe it's not the best promotion. You need to think of other ways to promote things.
Now, I wonder, it's obviously you want to get everyone on the big show, but that show was bloated. It was long. Something WWE has been doing recently is saving some matches. We're not putting the tag titles on the show. We're doing it on the Smackdown or stuff like that. Now, obviously, a surprise return like Cope, you can't promote. But if you had saved maybe that tag match for this Dynamite and promoted it as a big thing, people might go, oh, I wonder if Cope's going to return or stuff like that. And treat it. I think AEW needs to focus on being AEW and not just steal stuff from WWE. But there are things that work. Raw After Mania is something that people always tune into because they go, what surprises are we going to get? It's the new season of the TV show is starting, right, on that Raw. And I think there are stuff you can borrow from that, maybe saving an Edge return for that Dynamite to be a big thing for that crowd, rather than another moment in a sea of moments at All In and that 8-hour pay-per-view.
I think for them, they would just focus on it. We just keep doing the best content you can. Don't focus on like the ratings and whatnot, and just as long as the show is good, whether it's people watching on TikTok clips or whatnot, as long as you have people buying your shit and watching, I don't know, like obviously it must have hurt them to see that rating, but at the same time, it's not like their ratings are all like that fantastic in the last few years.
No, I mean, like ratings, I think they are overblown, but it is a metric of seeing what are people interested in.
I mean,
like,
look at this week.
Why were more people not like after the buzz? As you said, it's the first time we've watched Dynamite together for a long time.
Yeah.
Because we had that buzz, but why did that not translate to more people?
Look at Stephen Colbert. I mean, that's a whole other beast of itself, but most watched late night TV show and they cancel it. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty fucked up. Like they're most watched. Insane. That's
I mean, I think there's other reasons for that as well.
Yeah,
60 million reasons, right?
Women of Wrestling is on Paramount and CBS, and just saying, you could support their wrestling.
Have the mother truckers been talking shit about Paramount?
No, but there was
then they're okay then.
New world champ.
Oh yeah,
on Wow, Women of Wrestling this week. Just saying. Shout out former Worlds Collide star Tormenta for winning the Wow Women's World Wrestling Championship. I did check out some of the stuff from Collision as well. I mentioned the Dustin Don Callis stuff, clearly going towards Dustin Kyle Fletcher, and then Colt Cabana getting hung on TV. So they're going towards some other stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens on Dynamite. I can't remember what has been announced. We mentioned Athena, Billy Starks. Oh, Hangman versus Wheeler Yuta. Did we get a Danielson return here? Again? Shaves his head. Cut your fucking hair, kid.
Do you save Danielson for
Forbidden Door?
For Blood and Guts?
I mean,
like, if you're building a team, could he be like the surprise last member or something?
I'm building a team. I'm assembling a team, and I need Blue Panther on it. Yeah, that stuff about the yes chant is hilarious. I think we talked about it on our review last week of the how he was saying, like, yeah, WWE kind of told me this week that I shouldn't be doing the yes chant. So he did the yes chant in a stadium.
He's like, fuck it. Like, what are you going to do?
And then, am I reading this right? Again, from Fightful, that he's like also practicing to be like a firefighter on his spare time, like a volunteer firefighter. What can't this man do? All right. He just fighting fires in a Blue Panther mask.
Yeah.
Just putting out fires everywhere. Yeah. So, I mean, I hope we get Danielson wrestling again. It would be insane not to have him wrestle if he's able to, but maybe he's not able to quite yet.
I don't think he's had the surgery.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe. Yeah.
In a perfect world, we would be seeing Bryan Danielson wrestle at All Out here in Toronto in a month or two, but we'll have to see, because I don't think we will be seeing him wrestle anytime soon. Whereas hopefully we get to see Kenny in Canada for All Out. I hope that this isn't like a big injury or anything there. I hope he can wrestle in Canada one more time. And the same thing with Will Ospreay. Hope this isn't anything too serious and that it's just some, they're banged up and whatnot, and that they need some time to R&R, and that they can come back stronger and better than ever. Because I really hope Ospreay can be part of the Forbidden Door show. That would be a big blow to that show if he wasn't able to. So hopefully we get some good news regarding all of that in the near future. So that's all the stuff from AEW. Should we talk about some other stuff?
Yeah, get into a bit of WWE.
Some WWE SummerSlam in a few weeks in Jersey, 2 nights in the MetLife Stadium, and the big match, I'm assuming night 2 main event, the match everyone's been waiting for. Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Or is that the night 1 main event? I'm not sure, but wow, this is an interesting card. Looking at this card on Wikipedia here.
Yeah, did you see them on the Jelly Roll was presenting the Jimmy Kimmel show, right?
Right. Yes.
And they had the whole like fight with Randy and Drew and Logan Paul getting choke slammed through a table by Jelly Roll. I love wrestling, but I hate when they do things like this because it looks so fake, right? And it's I hate giving other people the opportunity to call out wrestling looking fake. And
right.
There's just something, I get the idea of it. It's and obviously you're gonna get buzz, like a lot of people are watching this show. I get it, but when you're seeing Drew and Randy trading elbows with each other, like brawling out the back, and this choke slam, like it just, I don't know, it didn't do it for me.
I'm sure it does for some people.
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
As much as I think Jelly Roll is an industry plant, I don't think it's a bad idea. He seems like he's one of the most famous people lately. Maybe it's because WWE introduced me to him, but ever since, you can't avoid him. Like he was hosting Jimmy Kimmel. Like Jimmy Kimmel takes the summers off and he gets different hosts every week and stuff. So
that's a big spot.
That's a pretty big spot. That's cool. Jelly Roll's been opening for Post Malone in stadium tours. Like he's been doing big concerts and his music and everything. It's just like when they continuously try to tell, when WWE tries to tell me something is cool, I'm not going to believe them. So as much as I think Jelly Roll's lost a lot of weight, he looked good in the times he has appeared in WWE. He clearly is a fan. I'm just like, this is not something necessarily for me.
It just seems weird with Randy and Drew as well.
Yeah,
Like
I think
they
the
seem
issue,
above this, right?
Yeah,
And
they seem like
I think
they're
if
not
this
the
was
guys.
Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, you're like, whatever, sure.
That might be it. Yeah, that might be the thing for me. I'm like, Drew has just had this huge fall off. Like, this guy was involved in one of the biggest feuds,
and it's no fault of his own. Like, it's booking, right?
It's just like, man, he came out of that feud with CM Punk like not the greatest, and Randy's come back and he's in a great position. I don't know. Like, again, I don't want to shit on this. We've seen some celebrity involvements in wrestling and everything, and it's just a tag match at SummerSlam. It's whatever. But I'm just like, like, you've pivoted from, you've realized Travis Scott doesn't want to train, so now we pivoted to another celebrity involvement.
So yeah, that was the news coming out, right? Like, they've kind of abandoned the Travis Scott thing. They didn't feel he was invested enough, wasn't training. The original plan was potentially a tag match with him and Bad Bunny involved. But yeah, the whole Travis Scott element has been pretty much dropped from this Cody Rhodes, John Cena thing. Like, I hated it when it happened. And yeah, it's not the worst thing that it's just been dropped cold.
It probably isn't, but it's just, they're just keep trying this shit where they're like, okay, pivot. No more Travis Scott. Let's go with Jelly Roll. Again, I don't mind when there's celebrity involvement and stuff, but this year has been pretty bad with it. Like, when we had Bad Bunny, no one was bashing him because it worked really well. Like, he put the time in, he put the hours in. I don't know. It seemed to really work. All leading up to that, like, Bad Bunny match, the pay-per-view, essentially, the backlash, right? The entrance and the match with Damian Priest and everything. I think that was super cool. Just, this feels a little WWE kind of shoveling some garbage and making, oh yeah, look at the SummerSlam. I'm just, come on. Like, even if this was the match, okay, what else do we have on this show? You're going back to Cena and Cody. You've now made it a street fight, as we can talk about that contract signing. I'm just, that first match really left me, and I'm sure a lot of other wrestling fans, with a bad taste in their mouth. So it's like, fool me once, can't get fooled again. So why would I want to watch this again? Like I don't. So I'm not feeling WWE as much. But then I'm trying to look at the positives, because I'm looking at this card. We've got Punk and Gunther, which people I think wanted from WrestleMania. So it's like, okay, at least you got that match in there. There's the stuff with Seth. I don't know. I'm not feeling this SummerSlam rotation this year. As originally we were going to go to this show, and I'm really glad we didn't book to go to this, because I would not be feeling it. I don't think, as I am.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. I think there's some good stuff on this show. We don't know what's going to be what nights, but I think the women's stuff has been really strong. I like the triple threat, Naomi, Ripley, and Io Sky. I'm sure that's going to be great. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria really haven't disappointed so far. I think that's going to be really good. Tiffany and Jade, we kind of talked a bit about on Tuesday's show. I think that's a bit of a weird match, and that's a hard match to book. So not particularly as high on that one. Look, you got to go, and maybe we can talk about the contract signing now. You do have to get back to this Cena Cody thing at some point. The first match wasn't good. Now, I think a lot of that was also down to the booking, down to the Travis Scott element, down to the Rock not being there, but being part of the story, all of that. There were so many elements why this was bad. And I'm sure Cody Rhodes and Cena have heard the criticisms as well and want to fix that. Now, it being a street fight, it does allow to do some more things. Like, you can a few more bells and whistles you can throw into there. It's kind of weird, because I think we know we need to get Cena as a babyface for that last match in December. So, but this reign so far really hasn't been good at all. you're abandoning the ruining wrestling storyline if the title leaves. And you're not even teasing like the December, like Cena leaving or whatever. But it feels maybe Triple H grabbing creative a bit and just try and get the end of the year back on track. And I think maybe just abandoning ship of the original plans and let's just get this on Cody. Let's give Cena his redemption arc for the second half of the year. And hopefully we can course correct and have a real feel-good moment come December with Cena leaving.
Yeah, like just course correct at this point. Like the Cena thing, I don't know if it's working like for anyone. It's been that way for a while. People are just like, oh yeah, this isn't maybe the way we wanted. We wish you turned heel like 10 years ago. Not right now. So we do need to go back to the feel-good like retirement tour for John Cena, and I guess having Cody win back the title, the street fight, hopefully they can right the wrongs of WrestleMania and like have a good match, do some crazy shit, double table AAs or crossroads off whatever, like just have a good match. Don't involve fucking Travis Scott or Jelly Roll or anything. Make it serious, make it big. I don't think it will hit. I don't think so. Like Cena has not hit for me since he turned heel. It was one of the best moments in WWE ever. And then they just coasted since then for me. And I'm just like, what? I don't even know what you could do in this contract signing. Cena's, I'm not actually showing up. Don't even sign the contract. I'm not showing up. It's like, okay, well, like we know you are, but you're playing the heel now that you're like, you don't care about the fans. And you're using, I think he was like, I'm using an emotional support day to take off work. He's poking fun at like, you know, all those people and okay. But then did you hear what Cody said? I don't flinch when it comes to politicking backstage, or I don't flinch when the final boss comes for my spot. So we're still on that. You can't say The Rock's not involved because here is Cody literally referencing that. Well,
I think that, but
so
we all saw it. This is my criticism of WrestleMania. It's they then kind of didn't talk about it. They pretended
exactly.
They pretend The Rock was future endeavored, and therefore we never talk about him again.
Talk about
and I think we've all seen it. We watched it. We saw it take place. I think Cody should bring it up. Like it should be brought up.
It should have
been. The only thing is, it should have been in a line at some point between Elimination Chamber and today.
Yeah.
Something should have been put out there about The Rock not being there, like a story, kayfabe reason why he's not involved anymore. But now the other thing, I think, it's going to be a New York, New Jersey crowd. We saw the reaction for Cody at WrestleMania. I could see it being a pro Cena crowd again. I could be seeing Cody getting boos again. Now, if Cody wins this and is at the end of SummerSlam holding up the title, and there's boos or fuck you Cody chants or whatever, where do we go from there? Could it just be a one night thing, or kind of Cody's been saying that a heel turn might be sooner than expected?
Okay, so The Rock comes out, does the cut.
Fuck The Rock. No, The Rock's dead. The Rock's dead. The Rock doesn't exist.
He's coming out at SummerSlam.
Okay. No, but could you potentially see a Cody turn, and we could do a bit of a double turn, and I mean it would open, unfortunately, maybe the doors to a third match as Cena's final match. But could you see Cody turning heel?
I don't know. It's like this storyline, Cena's being a dickhead, like he's being a jerk, but it's not even like a creative or entertaining heel for me. And I don't know. I'm not interested in this match, but we need to get away from it. We need to move away from it and have Cena go on to be a babyface again. If that's the case and a double turn is what needs to happen, sure. But I don't even know if that necessarily is the case. Clearly, people will cheer Cena. We saw that at WrestleMania. I don't know. I want it to be good. I want the match to be good. I want there to be something, a big moment at the end, whether it's a swerve. I just want it to be good because every time I tune in, it's not for me. So I want it to hit really well. And if Travis Scott's not involved, good. Forget it, cut and go, and let's move. Like I'm joking about The Rock coming back. Like we don't need that, but like we need something to move some sort of story somewhere because the Cena shit is like,
I wonder if you could change
the channel for me.
And it would, like a street fight, it's could be physical, but it does help with like limited Cena. You know, you don't have to do the wrestling as much. I think you could get there by Cody being too violent. You know, like it's almost not with the Vince involvement, but almost like Austin at the end of WrestleMania 17, where he's just repeatedly beating down. I mean, looking at the image right now of Cody standing above Cena, you could have that kind of image with Cena as Cody being so many steel chair shots that beats Cena, walks off with like a scowl on his face and crowd booing, and you leave Cena like gradually getting back and kind of the crowd cheering him. And that could be, you could get around a double turn that way, maybe.
The image I got from SmackDown, or the image I remember from the contract signing, is Cody in midair holding a contract, doing a splash to the table. I guess because the suit he's wearing is very expensive and he doesn't want to rip it, but that was really awkward. Why did he have the contract in his hand while doing the splash?
I don't know.
It was pretty funny. I like I said, I really want this to click for me. I think we have a few weeks before SummerSlam. We should have more promos. I do want them to, like, I think so far not having any mention of Travis Scott, I guess, is good. But like, let's focus on these two being like two of the biggest stars ever in WrestleMania, in WWE. I mean, and like the WrestleMania was such a letdown that like you have to fix it. You have to right that wrong. And I'm just hoping that they do. And I would hope that both of them understand that not a lot of people liked their first that match. So like, let's fix it. Let's change the tone of what fans are saying, and hopefully we can get to that. And I'm saying, I don't think we need The Rock or something like that, but we need, whether it's a turn, double turn. I don't know what it is, but it's feeling a little like we're going back to this when I didn't enjoy it the first time around. I'm hoping, and I'm going to be positive and say that it will be a whole lot better than their WrestleMania match. And this is night 2 main event. Like, fuck it. Let's go, boys. I hope you can deliver.
We also had Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu set for a steel cage match at SummerSlam. This had one of my favorite moments on SmackDown this week.
Someone got a job, right? This jobber cop better get hired. This was one of the smoothest jobber cop performances I've ever seen. This guy was Rob Thomas to me. This guy was great. I think he's been singled out as what wrestler this is. I can't recall now, but this was so funny. Is this what you're referring to?
I don't know. Well, I'm talking about one of the jobber cops. I don't know if we're going to be talking about the same thing.
Oh, okay.
But there's a moment where they go up to Pierce, these jobber cops, and they're like, "Where's Jacob Fatu? We're looking for Jacob Fatu." And he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Yes, Jacob Fatu is," and looks down at his notepad, "a person of interest who we need to talk to."
No, different cop.
Now, okay, refer to your notes, sure. But shouldn't it be like the name is what you're trying to remember? We're here to talk to for a person of interest. His name is, looks down, Jacob Fatu. But he forgot like why he needs to talk to Fatu. And it was just like, yo, did he just forget his lines and had it written here on this pad? I found it so funny. Like just the timing. Like, why are you looking at your pad for that? I need to talk to Braden. Why do you need to talk to Braden? We're recording a podcast today.
This was a different cop than the cop I'm referring to when
right.
Pierce is like, "Go arrest that man," and Solo's like, "Yeah, go arrest him," and then the cop grabs his arm instead and like twists him and starts to lock him up, and it's supposed to be this like big swerve. I rewound it like 3 times. It was so funny. Like this cop being like, "And you're the one being arrested."
Nice.
I try to watch this, and it's like, yes, we have a vehicular. Sorry, I'm botching the name of this word. Vehicular, like a car.
Yeah.
Destruction. And then we just see like there's this like car crash, and the show starts off by like, oh yeah, there's been some sort of accident. It's like, for fuck's sake. It just reminds me of a quote. I think it was Michael Cole on Logan Paul's podcast, and bear with me for a sec, but months ago, Michael Cole was asked about like a wrestling, pro wrestling, this and that. Michael Cole's like, "Hey, just to like reiterate, WWE hasn't been a wrestling show for years. We are a television show. Wrestling comes like second, third, or last in a lot of cases. And starting off the show with like a police investigation with what has to be the most worst signing of JC Mateo, just standing around like one of the worst witnesses ever with all these cops. And then Cody comes in asking for I just was reminded, like, what TV show am I watching right here? So Godspeed. Like, what in the fuck are they? What is going on SmackDown with JC Mateo, Solo Sikoa? So now it's a steel cage match so that none of the 90 Samoan cousins can get involved in this, which I don't know if you've ever seen a steel cage match. That means all of them are going to get involved.
Yes.
Rikishi's kids, we don't even know he has yet, are going to get involved in this match. But I don't know. I got a real chuckle out of this, like starting the show with, there was an accident here. It's like, ooh, I love a great murder mystery as my wrestling starts, but it just didn't hit like that. But anyways, I'm not necessarily pumped for SummerSlam, but when you do look at some of the other matches on it, I'm like, okay, maybe I can forgive a jelly roll if we're getting CM Punk and Gunther on one of those shows. Maybe we can forgive. We're getting a steel cage. You know, I'm not huge on Solo. I think he has made the best, especially with some of the comedy stuff. Again, the cop arresting him was really funny. So he's getting better at that kind of stuff. The wrestling has kind of been on the wayside for me.
Personality's there now,
the
right?
Personality
like he's
really
way more entertaining to watch right now. Can't say and get excited about his matches, but as a character, he's progressed for sure.
Absolutely. So, like, again, trying to look at the positives of this show.
I think we set up potential Damian Priest and Aleister Black match. Now, I'm not particularly high on Black, but I don't mind this direction for both of them. Like as a mid-card thing, I think they could both do something pretty good and hopefully maybe elevate Black a little bit in the process. So I don't mind that direction so much. Any thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, I like Priest is someone that you could keep him heated up for title matches or whatnot. I'm not quite sure. His character since like losing the title, he's kind of been floating around. He's a solid person. He gets reaction, you know, I think we need like some sort of like story arc or like angles to make him feel we've got something going on, where his character's a little cold for me. And as for Aleister Black, I can't say I'm too invested. I was thrilled to see him get pinned a few weeks ago. So so like there's a step forward in some sort of direction. So I think it's not the worst case to see.
Long-term storytelling. All this time he's been saving the getting pinned for Ron the Truth Killings.
Yeah. Again, like if that's something that gets added to, sure. We have 8 matches so far announced over a 2-night show. So they'll have to eventually tell you what matches are on what date. And I'm sure one night we'll have, Gunther Punk and then Jelly Roll. So then the other night we'll have certain things you don't want to see to kind of even it out. But I'd say, honestly, the Gunther Punk, I'm hoping is like a real standout match from this weekend of shows that they put on, because there's not a whole lot else announced that's necessarily getting me excited.
I like what they're. I mentioned this on Tuesday, but I've been enjoying what they've done with Charlotte and Alexa. I think it's a good direction for Charlotte to keep her away from the singles championships and stuff for a while, and finally she's getting like some sympathy and some like genuine, honest connection with the crowd. So I think this is a nice little thing you can do. I think they should potentially win the tag titles against Judgment Day and have a little run. It should be Alexa to be the one turning on Charlotte down the line. But I think you actually really want to like strengthen this friendship. So it makes it a bit more heartbreaking for Charlotte when Alexa turns on her.
Yeah.
But I think that's been smart booking.
It seems like she's getting some reaction, and maybe that article had something to do with it, or people turning around. Like, she doesn't do herself any favors in the past year of things she said or done. So it's like, hopefully that can turn around. I think there could be a great redemption arc for Charlotte. What about the curious conspiracy case of Seth Rollins and the injury that His wife, Becky Lynch, on social media showing videos of him walking on crutches. Is this all a work, or are we crazy into thinking, no way, this guy, who does he think he is? Sandman in the 90s, acting like he's actually injured? Come on, no way. Or is he back and to the left?
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I've been looking at different reports and listening to John Way and stuff like that. I get the feeling he is hurt. It's not serious. It's something that he's just going to rest up, rehab a little bit. And the Saturday night's main event thing was an angle, and they're making it seem more serious than it is. Like they're making us think that it's, 9 months. He said on that interview the other day, like my main goal is to be ready for WrestleMania, and that kind of thing. I do see him coming back. I think this is, I think they are kayfabing us a bit, and potentially it could be, Punk beats Gunther and Seth cashes in, or that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that would be the best case scenario. Once again, Punk and him continuing this feud where they're getting at each other. We've seen it with Punk and Drew, how the costing him the belt and all that kind of stuff and cash-ins. And I think that would make the most sense if Seth were to walk it. Like if Gunther and Punk is the main event of night one, example, and then you have Seth cash in and walk out as champion. I think that'd be a pretty big story, right?
I feel they might main event with the women for night one. I think that triple threat. I think with especially with Rhea and Io, how like good they've been this year, and that match at WrestleMania, I could see them main eventing night one with the women this year.
Okay, yeah, and then night two, obviously Cena and Cody.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that match should be pretty fun. Rhea and Io definitely have some great chemistry, especially all the matches they've been involved with this year. But the Seth thing is kind of coming across like it's totally the story we're going to go with. When he cashes in, it's going to kind of shock people that, oh, look, he's not actually injured, and it was all a work to trick CM Punk. So hopefully CM Punk is reading the dirt sheets or listening to Post Wrestling, because he might be in for a shock after he beats Gunther, if he does beat Gunther. What a hell of a year if he beats Gunther, though, for Gunther. Like ups and downs. You're going to lose. You're going to win the title. Then you're going to lose the title. You're going to win it back. You're going to fight Goldberg. You're going to fight Pat McAfee. You're going to fight CM Punk. Like Gunther and Punk have had a bunch of matches on the indie show, like the house show run.
Yeah,
they did this year. So I'm sure they've been working on some stuff. So that should be an interesting match. Another WWE thing. I watched the trailer for WWE Unreal, which definitely has my interest. So they're breaking the fourth wall. They're breaking kayfabe. Has anyone checked on the old heads' opinions on this? Like your Undertakers, your Vinces? I'm sure Vince is just rolling in his grave, right? Of like, what do you mean you're exposing everything? Stop it. I think it's pretty cool. No one in today's world, I mean, I shouldn't say no one, but most people know that wrestling isn't real. But this finally really going behind the scenes, it looks really interesting. And it looks kind of heartfelt, which I think maybe people aren't understanding.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. I still think it's going to be like any other reality TV. I think it's going to be very still manipulated and scripted and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whilst there being elements of truth in there, I am interested in it. I tend to, I enjoy wrestling documentaries full stop, even if some of them aren't as good as others. Like I tend to enjoy the stuff WWE puts out documentary wise. So I am looking forward to this, and it is intriguing. Watching, like, we've seen storyboards in this trailer and stuff like that. And like that stuff I'm kind of interested in. And obviously they're going to be going into stuff with The Rock and, Rock wanting Cody to turn heel. Like they showing on the, they show on the screen, like they go, oh, there's like 3 different possibilities we can do. And you have like pictures of The Rock, Cena, Cody, and all that there. So I'm pretty interested in it.
Yeah, seeing the storyboarding is interesting, considering you see movies, directors, producers, they're always doing that to like show you, okay, this is what it could look like. And seeing just snippets of it, which I'm sure we'll get into a whole lot. Obviously, they're going to manipulate to tell the stories of this documentary, but like as we've talked on air and off air, Netflix documentaries are great, no matter what it is. If it's about a poop boat, Travis Scott's concert, or people died, or like anything Netflix docs cover, they're usually really good. So true crime, whatever. And obviously being in bed with WWE, I think this is pretty interesting. And we reviewed and talked about the WrestleMania Vegas one that they kind of finally opened up this vault of. And it was interesting seeing like this is how the sausages are made a little bit. And you don't need to show me all the things that you are putting into the sausages, but show me a little bit so I can understand just of like what it is. And I will definitely be watching. This is out soon, I think, as well. So
29th of July.
There you go. So I'm sure in a few weeks we'll talk about it. I think it's episodes, right? So whether they drop it all at once or whatever. So in the next coming weeks, we will definitely give our thoughts on those episodes on this show. And then kind of other little bits and bobs. The New Japan G1 Climax 35 has kicked off. I checked out one match so far. Konosuke Takeshita versus Gabe Kidd. Thought it was an awesome, hard-hitting match. Only for me to wake up today and hear that Gabe Kidd is injured and is out of the G1 Climax.
Oh. Yeah, real tough. Especially Kidd, who's been having some real momentum this year. Obviously the Kenny feud at the beginning of the year, been featured in AEW, shot the angle with Ospreay in Texas, and now I'm sure he was going to be. I'm sure he was going to be one of the favorites in this G1. Real shame. I saw that match. Real heavy hitting. Didn't reach the level it could reach, I think, but thoroughly enjoyable. I've managed to watch a handful so far. I caught Tanahashi Taichi, which it's the Tanahashi story is going to be interesting because the guy needs to retire. Like his body, the body is breaking down. Love Tanahashi, but the body is breaking down. And after a couple of hairy looking high fly flows, beats Taichi, but he's going to be a big story for this, right? Like he's going to be a big draw. But the G1 is so grueling. And I think you've got to say he's a favorite to win, right? Sure. Like there's, if even at this stage in his career, I think Tanahashi challenging for one last title at the Tokyo Dome is going to be a draw, will be a draw for fans. Now, they need to pull the trigger with some of these young guys as well. And I think a lot of people, myself included, earmark Yota Tsuji for that. Like, so they'd be my favorites, really, those two to win this whole thing. But just watching Tana against Taichi, it's like, man, it's going to be a lot of work to get there, unfortunately. And then I watched ELP Takeshita as well. Which
I have to watch that.
Which obviously I think they fought in the G1 last year, but they had a pretty good match. I'm doing absolutely awfully in the post-wrestling pick'ems contest so far. I think I'm only on 7 points out of the 20 matches that have happened so far. But yeah, it's still early days. But any front runners for you? Who do you see? I know we're both a bit kind of divorced from New Japan in recent years, but it's always an interesting time, the G1.
I definitely love to cherry pick around this time. Like when I have some free time, I see some matches like announced that were obviously time changes and stuff. But if I wake up on a day and I see that these guys fought or this and that, I'll be like, oh, cool, I'll go watch it and I'll put it on. But if friends or our Poisonrana community people will be like, oh, you got to check out this one. This one was awesome. Then of course I go and cherry pick and watch it. And I did that today with Takeshita Gabe Kidd, only to then after watching see the news of him coming out and the injury and everything. And I'm just like, man, that's such a bummer considering they had something, not just a character and a wrestler, but a bit of a story going on with him. And I wonder where that will go and affect not just the G1, but how long he will be out. And that, like, it's a bit of a shame because they have to pull the trigger with new guys. And every time they do, it's not working, at least for me. So it's like, I don't know what they should do. And I think they have, like, having someone like a Takeshita in there is great. They've clearly have some investment in him with a contract and everything. But like, if AEW wasn't a thing and Takeshita just was in DDT all these years, I think he would have made. He's been vocal about he wants to be in New Japan and stuff. I think he would have been someone that could have been an ace up their sleeve a little bit. And I would go with him. Whether it's Tokyo Dome main event, if they're doing 2 nights or whatnot, like he could be someone that could help him versus another one of their up and coming guys to then help give that crown. Because Tanahashi, like you said, he's a broken down golf cart where it's like that. The levee's gonna break, and you can't have the Takeshita Tanahashi banger like we used to. It's like you need some other people in New Japan. Just the characters that they have just haven't clicked for me. And Gabe Kidd was someone is like, okay, well, there's something there, and it's like, oh, he's injured. It's like, oh fuck. They tried with Goto, obviously not a newer guy, younger guy, but like they finally were like, okay, wait, let's go with Goto, and then he's now injured. It's like, fuck, okay, what do we do? What do we do?
I remember us saying this at the Wrestle Kingdom review. I love Zack Sabre Jr. I think he's great.
Yeah,
but he doesn't necessarily feel like he is a main eventer, but he doesn't feel like a Tokyo Dome main eventer.
I agree.
Which is tough because I agree everything you say about Takeshita. I am hesitant. Yes, he does have a contract with New Japan, but I think his priority is AEW, and I can see them being hesitant to give him that position. I can see him having a big featured match on the show.
Yeah. Not
necessarily the main event. As I said, I think Tsuji is a guy that you would get behind, and I think it's important he gets a good Forbidden Door opponent. So, like stateside, it opens eyes to people of how good this guy could be. But yeah. I'm actually, and it's not what I put for my pick'ems, but I may be leaning to Tanahashi. Just the story works, and I think similar what I said with, if Ospreay's a little banged up facing Zack, like he's a safe person to be in there with. We've seen so many Zack Tanahashi matches over the years, but I could see that being the main event. I could, and I think Zack is someone who can work with all of his limitations and give Tanahashi a fine send off.
Is that his last match? Wrestle Kingdom?
So he's kind of done a bit of the Goldberg. He said, if I win the title, I'll defend it until I lose it. But
right.
Which makes me think that maybe they're already putting that seed in people's heads. So yeah, I'm leaning to Tanahashi win at this point, and Tana versus Zack as the main event for the Tokyo Dome.
Oh, just like I wanna be invested. It's just I don't know, some of the newer characters they got screwed a little bit. Like all their top guys got robbed in the last few years, but it didn't look like they did much to keep them. So it's like you did this to yourself, and every time you try with these new guys, it's not working. So you gotta try something different or move different ways. And I don't know if Tanahashi winning the G1 is the right move, but tell me a better pick. Like Takeshita, Tanahashi, who else? Who else would you want winning? It's not Gabe Kidd, so it's like
I'd have put Gabe in there. Tsuji, no one else. Like I wouldn't go. Like
no one's there.
Shota Umino wasn't it last year. I wouldn't go with him, and I don't think they've done great stuff with his character since then. Ren Narada, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not Evil, not Sonada. Like
so, it's
I'd have said, yeah, my 4 would have been Tana, Takeshita, Tsuji, and Kid's out. So I don't know.
The Alpha, give it to him. That's who I'm going. I would love to see that. I think he would be a great flag bearer for them. But you're right. Like depending on the stuff with AEW, like would they let him do that for a little while? Be the guy over there essentially. But I mean, who knows? Maybe Zack loses the belt at Forbidden Door. Maybe go a different direction, right? Like we've done that before, where we thought Zack was the Wrestle Kingdom, and then he got the belt before that, and et cetera, et cetera. So we shall see. But the G1 climax continues to climax on. And last thing, AJ Styles was not all in, but AJ Styles will be at Slammiversary, which they've teased that the Phenomenal One, after many years, is returning to TNA. We're recording this Sunday, July 20th. And tonight in Long Island, TNA has got one of their biggest crowds in years. And AJ Styles is set to appear. I wonder if we get a promo, if someone were to challenge him to a future match. I'm not quite sure, but pretty cool.
Yeah, I could see an announcement of him going into the TNA Hall of Fame. He has declined it in the past, but I could see that being a thing. And maybe just him punking out one of their heels there. Take it like AJ Francis or whoever, I don't see like I would have thought if he was wrestling, they
He's
might
not wrestling.
announce that. So I do see it being more probably him announcing Hall of Fame and then hitting someone with a Styles Clash.
I just don't know, like, if he were to wrestle one last TNA match, like, I don't know who the guy would be. Who is their, like, their Ali?
Ali, like if tonight is the crowning moment of Mike Santana, I think that could be a good match you could do. Yeah, because you'd want it to be you'd want it to feel like it's a TNA guy, wouldn't you? Yeah.
And all of them are WWE. All of them are WWE type guys anymore, sort of right now. So.
But it's clearly, you know, we've had our like I think there's been pros and cons of the TNA NXT crossover, but it's clearly working. They're running as of 3 hours ago, according to WrestleTix. The current setup is 7,154 and tickets distributed 6,805. So yeah, I mean, this is a 16,000 seat arena, but obviously kind of scaled down.
Yeah,
I think it will look good. I think it will sound good. And yeah, kind of obviously the NXT thing has helped them, and I think the announcement of AJ has probably boosted some ticket sales as well.
Like we definitely talked about it on Tuesday with the NXT, basically doing a go home show for this Slammiversary, and we gave out some predictions and stuff. Like I think it's awesome that just wrestling as in general is picked up, and that TNA can like crawl out of the ashes as like a phoenix busting out with all these people getting tickets and stuff. And I think that's pretty cool. But we looked at the card on Tuesday and we were both like, oh, right. Cool. So I don't know. Will you be watching tonight?
Not tonight. I might download it for my flight tomorrow to watch. I feel like I should watch the NXT matches. The Trick Henry Santana I'd like to watch, and the Masha JC Jane match I'd like to watch. The rest, I'm not particularly bothered about. I think Moose Leon Slater could actually be pretty good for the X Division Championship. I do have a little soft spot for Moose, and Leon Slater's definitely one to keep an eye on. I think that could be I think that could be pretty fun. I do find a lot of these TNA cards. This one maybe not as much as usual, but I do find there's always some good stuff on there, but they bog it down with just some multi-man bullshit as well that you've got to kind of sift through. But you know, Ali versus Cedric Alexander could be all right. We've got the tag match, the Nemesis, the Hardys, the Rascals, and First Class going at it. They could. I love the Rascals, so there could be some.
That's a ladder match. That could be good. Well. That could definitely be good. Yeah. So
yeah,
I'll be live on Tuesday night after NXT, and I'll check out some of this. I'll check out some of the stuff, obviously including NXT. There's gonna be title changes.
Yeah,
one way or another, someone's walking out a double women's champ. So
JC2 belts.
JC2 belts. Let's go. Book it. So there you go. That was us talking all about the wrestling from this week. As I mentioned, we will not be going live next Sunday. You're away, and it's my birthday, so I'm taking it off. I will be live this Tuesday. Like I said, Jordan Goodman, B Detroit. We're going to talk about some NXT and the fallout from Slammiversary. So maybe those guys will check it out as well. We can give some thoughts on that. And Poisonrana.ca. Follow us. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be, your podcast app. Hit that subscribe. Write us a nice little review. And if you like what you hear, patreon.com/Poisonrana. $5 to become a friend. Gives you a whole month's access of all the podcasts that we've done. Our Dallas road trip, Snap Rana Diaries, plus Best Match Ever Goldberg, Best Match Ever Okada Omega. We recently reviewed WWE Evolution. And I got some things in the works for the next few weeks as well. And then you'll be back in a few weeks, and we'll try to get out some Champ is Here action down the line. So lots and lots of podcasts, and we can't do without you fine frogs. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
So Davie, have a nice trip, everyone. We'll be chatting very soon. Take care. Goodbye, and be safe.
Ahoy!